The celebration of Bowl Week is boundless. From the beach to the bay. From the heart of Texas to the Sunshine State. The pageantry is unrivaled. The nation comes alive for Bowl Week.
Capital One Bowl Week continues from Las Vegas, the land of extravagance and exorbitance, where risk and reward lurk around every corner. And today, the most coveted and courted woman in town is Lady Luck. But a couple of teams on the field today hoping to leave nothing to chance. The UCLA Bruins and the New Mexico Lobos. We're nestled at the base of the Sunrise Mountains, Sam Boyd Stadium for the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. It's a matchup between the Mountain West Conference and the Pac-10. New Mexico taking on the UCLA Bruins. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey and Mike Godfrey. Thanks for coming aboard. From all of us here at ESPN to all of you at home, a very Merry Christmas and all the best in the upcoming year. Bob, let's start off talking about these two teams at different ends of the emotional spectrum right
Mark,
now.
the best thing New Mexico has going for them, they are truly excited to be here, and they should. It's only their second bowl game since 1961, playing UCLA today on national television, arguably the most highly visible game the school's ever played in. The second thing, they finished the year on a positive. They have some momentum. They won 5 of their last 7 games. Rocky Long, Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year. Dontrell Moore, Freshman of the Year in the Mountain West. And Mike, UCLA, clearly more talent. But New Mexico, to me, has the advantage of the intangibles.
Bob, if this was a beauty contest, you'd pick UCLA because they're bigger, stronger, and faster, a better-looking football team. But will they play? They got a lot of distractions. Bob Toledo got fired. The assistant coaches are looking for jobs. They're going to pressure the 2 young quarterbacks. We'll see what happens.
A couple of freshman quarterbacks today in Olsen and Matt Moore, and we are set, folks, to kick it off. New Mexico wins the toss. They defer to the second half. The Bruins will receive the opening kickoff. UCLA coming in with a record of 7-5, having dropped their last 2 games against Washington State and USC. As for New Mexico, well, we just chronicled some of their late season success. They won 5 of their last 7. Back deep for the Bruins, it's Mathis and Tad Perry. This will be Perry at the 5. Perry with a nice middle return, making it out to the 31-yard line. Holly Rowe down to the field has more on the coaching situation. Holly?
UCLA has a new head coach, Carl Dorrell, but he is not here coaching this game. Instead, the interim head coach is Ed Kazarian. He is an athletic director of academic support, but he has been a coach before. Although he hasn't been on the sidelines for 10 years, he says he's had to review the rules. He will rely on the other 9 assistant coaches. He's going to try to stay out of the way of the defensive and offensive coordinator, but he's got a lot of enthusiasm for the Bruins.
All right, Holly, and certainly he looks good on the sidelines with that headset. Certainly doesn't lack for motivation. This is Ebo between the tackles on the first play of the ball game. Got about 2 yards out to the 33-yard line. Drew Olsen is the starting quarterback. 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season. Took over midway through the year when Corey Pouse broke his leg. Let's take a look at the Coors Light starting lineups. Ebo, the sensational freshman running back. White, Bragg, Perry, and Seidman, a talented tight end. Second down and about 7 to go for the Bruins. Ebel again moving the pile out to the 38-yard line. Spiegel making a stop. Here's a look at the big, strong Bruin offensive line. Bryce Bolander, one of the leaders up front along with Safer.
Mark, they are big, and as you see early in this football game, an excellent run-blocking offensive line.
The Lobos, meanwhile, playing that 3-3-5 formation. Going against that defensive front. Kegler, one of the leaders up front along with Renteria. Third down and about 4 to go for UCLA. They run the jailbreak screen. Complete but short of the first down. Zach Rupp making the stop. Number 8, Junior Taylor. It's 3 and out for UCLA. Here's a look at the linebackers.
Charles Moss, New Mexico's leading tackler. And Mark, you talked about the 3-3-5 configuration. You see here 5 defensive backs. And watch number 9, Brandon Ratcliffe, and number 3, Terrell Golden. The 2 wolf backs, they'll blitz 80% of the game today.
A very unconventional, kind of unorthodox defense for New Mexico. Works on this first series. Dwight Counter is standing on his own 15-yard line for the Lobos. Fitzy, the punter, gets a high spiral off. Comes down to the 17. Counter tackled immediately on the play. Great special teams coverage. And a tackle by Joe Hunter for the Bruins after that 44-yard punt. Casey Kelly's the starting quarterback for the Lobos, a 6'3", 193-pound junior, completing 58% of his passes, 13 touchdown tosses on the season. Let's take a look at the Coors Light starting lineups for the Lobos. Moore, the talented freshman running back in the backfield.
They need to run the football, Mark, and play action pass. That's what they want to do.
First down and 10 for New Mexico. Nose of the ball resting at the 17. 4 receivers out to the left of Kelly. And it's the receiver screen complete. Dontrell Moore, the running back, makes the catch on the play. Let's take a look at the offensive line. Lensmeyer, the second-team All-Mountain West player, the leader up front, number 64. Going up against this defensive front, Williams, Morgan, Leslie, and Ball. Second down for New Mexico.
Mark, you see already in this football game, New Mexico does more on offense and defense of any team we've watched all year. You saw them with the unique 4 on one side empty formation on first down. Now they're back in I backs.
Handed off to Dontrell Moore, who put it on the ground. He's had a fumble all year, pretty much. Had troubles holding on to it. And Brandon Schiller recovers the fumble after the hit by Matt Ware.
Mark, you mentioned Dontrell Moore having a hard time as a freshman protecting the football. You see here on the second play of the game, the big hit by number 17, Matt Ware, the corner, and New Mexico's worst nightmare, turning the football over. Brandon Schiller with the fumble recovery. Mike, UCLA right here in great field position.
Yeah, Bob Moore has lost 7 fumbles in a 6-game span, so he coughs it up.
He's trying to remedy it, but the fumble bug rearing its ugly head for Moore today. First down and 10, Bruins working them with a short field. Ebel brought down for a loss of about 2 on the play. Good surge. Fashola up front.
Mark, you're going to see a unique defense today, the 3-3-5 concept of New Mexico. Rocky Long, actually with Joe Lee Dunn a long time ago, had the opportunity to put this defense into New Mexico. And if you look before the snap, you're going to see how they line up all 5 of these defensive backs in a straight line, so there's no pre-snap read for the quarterback. And this can cause havoc, particularly for a freshman quarterback, Mike.
Well, you just saw it, Bob, because the freshman quarterback, once he gets his hands under center, the defense is going to move. The longer he takes to call that snap count.
Dead ball foul, false start. That gets the offense, movement in the offensive line prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
The more problems he's going to get, because he's going to get a lot of movement.
Drew Olson, the freshman quarterback we're referring to. He started the last 5 games of the season after Corey Powell broke his leg. Young, accurate with his passing, but looking for a degree of consistency here. Second down and 18. Olson back to pass. Incomplete. Intended for Tab Perry. It'll be third down and long now.
In talking to the UCLA coaches, they think it's a must that they get early success because their ball club has had the last 2 games. They turned the football over. Good coverage right here by New Mexico.
Pretty well thrown ball that time by Olson. Tab Perry coming back from an ankle injury. Getting back to full speed just this week. Third down and 18. Carter in motion, the tight end. Olson to pass under pressure. And it's stripped away from Olson. But the Bruins got it back. Billy Strother, the 2-time Mountain West Conference Player of the Week, making a big play.
You see early on the chaos and the confusion that New Mexico's defense causes. Moss, the linebacker, comes on blocked, and then the strip from the backside by Billy Strother, the linebacker. Mike, this team blitzes 85% of the time, and right there, 3rd and 18, UCLA played right into their hands.
Freshman quarterback, he's not seen these looks.
Fixie attempting a long field goal for the Bruins. He's made his last 10. Make it 11 in a row. Nate Fixie from 42 yards out gives the UCLA Bruins a 3-0 lead. We are underway at the Capital One Bowl Week and the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. UCLA taking advantage of the turnover. We'll be back.
Happy holidays. I'm Peter Moore, President and COO of Sega of America, and I'd like to welcome you to the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Sega Sports strives to achieve the same type of emotion, action, and competition that you will see in today's game, which is why we are honored to be a part of this great bowl tradition. Thank you for supporting the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl and both of today's great teams, the UCLA Bruins and the University of New Mexico Lobos. We wish you the very best in the new year, and enjoy the game.
All right, back at Sam Boyd Stadium, just underway, 3-0 UCLA converting after the turnover.
Mark, if I was Kazarian, the interim coach out onside kicker, he's got a one-game contract. What does he care?
Wait a second now, Mike. Wait a second. You know Rocky Long is just as nervous thinking that same thing, but he decides to kick it deep.
They're going to bring it out of the end zone. It's number 4, Brandon Gregory. And Gregory brought down at the 23-yard line. Folks, Capital One Bowl Week double dip today. Continuing on ESPN 8 Eastern Time, Hawaii taking on Tulane, the Green Wave. It's the inaugural Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Hey, Timmy Chang, quarterback for Hawaii, quite a talent for the Rainbow Warriors. And we have a flag down on the play.
On a return, holding against the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
Hey, Bob, not the kind of start that Rocky Long wanted.
Not at all, Mark, but give credit to New Mexico's defense on that sudden change opportunity on the last possession. After the fumble, UCLA took over on the 21-yard line, and New Mexico was able to hold into a field goal.
First down and 10 as they place the ball on the 14-yard line. Casey Kelly at quarterback. Little option series here. And they put it on the ground again, but this time fortunate enough to get it back. Dontrell Moore recovered the fumble. Let's take a look at the Bruin linebackers. Spencer Havener, Marcus Reese, and Brandon Chiller, who we've seen a couple of times already today.
Marcus Reese, the leading tackler. Brandon Chiller, a lot on the zone blitz coming from the field, number 11.
Guys, a couple of talented corners in the secondary for the Bruins.
Yeah, Ricky Manning, very good. Matt Ware started as true freshman last year, but a nervous offensive football team, Bob, for New Mexico.
No question, Mike, and you have to wonder, coming and pitching that football right there.
Got to get it out.
The young freshman tailback, maybe just put the ball in his hands and be somewhat conservative right here.
Well, they run the fly series to Boyd, and he's brought down to the 15-yard line. And let's go down to Holly for more on the troubles of Dontrell Moore and fumbling.
Well, guys, Dontrell Moore had a career-high 181 yards against Colorado State, but 2 first-half fumbles cost them a chance for the conference championship. After that, he had his trainer, Rudy Garcia, cut the leg off a Lycra tight, put it over the football so that it was slippery. He used that ball every day in drills since and hadn't fumbled the football until today. They've taken him out of the game. They're trying to settle him down on the sidelines here. We'll see if they're successful.
3rd down and 8. He's one of their key cogs offensively. Can't have him out for long, and the pass is dropped over the middle. Intended for Joe Manning, number 24. And they'll have to punt, but good pressure up front by Rodney Leslie.
Excellent coverage right there by Ricky Manning on the shallow crossing route to Joe Manning. And once again, Mike, UCLA is going to have great field position here.
And New Mexico's defense is going to have to carry the load for a while for this football team, because this offensive starting lineup for New Mexico is just a nervous football team now. They haven't been in a bowl for a long time.
Second bowl since 1961. I'd consider that a long time.
Tyler Goss getting set to punt. Gets off a high but short spiral, and Craig Bragg will let it bounce at midfield. And for the second consecutive series, UCLA's offense will start with very propitious field position after the 35-yard bunt. Kind of looks like New York, folks, but don't be fooled. That's what Vegas is all about, the illusion. We'll be right back. Folks, you come to Vegas to see people painted in all colors, blue and red. UCLA with a 3-0 lead, 8:31 to play in the first quarter. And guys, so far, New Mexico relying on its defense.
Yeah, they need a good defensive series here. They're not as good on offense. They can't afford to go down 10-0.
We see UCLA in 2 tights again. Look out, touchdown.
And this could come back the other way. Desmar Black, 1 man to beat. Touchdown, Lobos.
Mike, you talk about freshman quarterbacks, freshman mistake. UCLA clearly with momentum on their side, and look who's in to attempt the extra point.
It is number 2, Katie Harinda, the place kicker. First time that she has ever kicked in a game.
I'm going to give her an applause right now before she kicks.
A moment for posterity and history here in college football, and for the Lobos, and it's blocked.
That's why I did it before she kicked.
They should have snapped it to her direct and faked it right there and let her run it in.
The extra point blocked. Certainly wasn't for lack of effort, though, as a 55-yard interception return gives the Lobos a 6-3 lead. And for more on Katie, let's go down to Holly.
Guys, Katie Ignita just found out before the game that she would be kicking the first extra point attempt. She was so nervous she asked the team chaplain to say a prayer for her. Now, this is the first time she's kicked in a game. She said this has been a wonderful experience at the University of New Mexico. She changes in closets, the back of trucks, everywhere else away from the team. She says the guys have been great, and that even baked cookies for the guys. Now, that's my only complaint. I don't think she should be baking cookies and wearing pads.
All right. 6-3, and New Mexico just to mention that they were relying on their defense, and the defense guys comes up with a huge play to put some points on the board.
Mark, you get a misread by the quarterback, Drew Olson, and I think what Bob talked about, the 5 across secondary, is throwing him off, and New Mexico needed that badly.
Tad Perry back for the kick. By Mathis, but this will be Perry at the 20. Tad Perry brought down at the 28-yard line. Let's take one more look at that pickoff by Black.
Mike, exactly what we talked about. Look at the secondary back here, both the corner and the safety with depth, and then you're going to see the corner roll up and change the coverage. The quarterback, Olsen, thought it was soft coverage. It ended up being a 2-deep zone. Desmar Black steps up. Once again, as you said, a misread by the quarterback, pre-snap disguise, and Desmar Black takes it to the house.
You know what I like about this, Bob? Drew Olson throws the pick. He thinks he's got the opening, but then he hustles back to try to make the play. I like that about him.
Here comes Ebel, and he got rocked.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I can tell you're an old quarterback coach, because if you're trying to find a positive in that, I can see if he'd have knocked him and the ball would have flown out of bounds on the 2-yard line. You're stretching there.
I like effort. I like that effort on the New Mexico defense. Tyler Ebel got stung on that play. He got knocked back.
The Lobos howling right now, fellas. Nose the ball on the 29-yard line. 2nd down and 9.
2nd down.
Backs lining up out of the eye this time. Olsen back to pass. Hits Bragg for the first down at the 45-yard line. Black making the stop on the play. In on the coverage. We're here at Sam Boyd Stadium for the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. It's the Mountain West Conference. New Mexico taking on the Pac-10's UCLA Bruins. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey, Mike Gottfried, Holly Rowe down in the field. And guys, boy, UCLA coming into this game somewhat a large favorite. at 10.5 points, but the Lobos surprising and shocking some people so far. First down and 10. Ebel between the tackles, a small guy at just $175, plowing his way out to the 45-yard line, stopped by Brandon Ratcliffe.
Mike, something you're going to see throughout this game is gap blocking by UCLA. Block everybody down. They send Mercedes in motion, and they hand the ball on the kick-out play. Gap blocking, kick-out scheme to counteract this stunning moving defense of New Mexico.
Yeah, and that's the way you pick up all the garbage when you block down. The other thing is you block zone, because you step as an offensive lineman and block whoever comes into your area.
So we're going to see zone blocking and gap blocking. And, Mike, you had to love Drew Olson coming back and making that throw on the curl a couple plays ago.
I'm a quarterback guy. I like it.
Hey, Bob, you know people born square don't die round. He'll never change.
This is what we talked about UCLA's first 10 games, what they had. Last 2 games, they had 7 turnovers and gave the defense tough field position because most of those turnovers were inside their own 30-yard line.
That game, especially against USC, a real disaster. First down and 10 for UCLA. They give it to the first man through the fullback. Manny White gets about 2 or 3 on the play. White, a huge load at 6'3", 243. Spiegel making the stop.
Mike, in all your years of coaching, have you ever heard of an assistant athletic director in charge of academics taking over as the head football coach for the bowl game?
No. First of all, I think Bob Toledo should be here. When you start the season as a head coach, you finish the season. And when I was coaching at Pittsburgh, they fired me, and I didn't get to coach in the bowl game. And that's wrong. And Bob Toledo should be here to see his team through the final game.
Well, you would think at least a chance to address his team at some point. Olsen back to pass. Overthrows his intended receiver, Craig Bragg. And UCLA got off to a pretty good start this season, 4-1. But then they had the quarterbacking injury to Corey Powell, and then things really changed directions quickly. Ended up with the termination of head coach Bob Toledo, and subsequently the hiring of Carl Durrell as the head coach on December the 18th.
A couple things, Mark, as we'll see as this game progresses. First of all, Corey Powell got hurt. 2 true freshman quarterbacks. Not redshirt freshmen, but true freshman quarterbacks.
We have a timeout on the field called by the Bruins. The Lobos howling out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Brought 10 busloads, folks, and they're making some noise right now. We'll be right back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2002 Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Brought to you by Sega Sports and by Chrysler. Drive equals love.
A look at part of the ostentation here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Got to stay out of the casinos, boys.
Ostentation.
Pompousness.
So big for a Youngstown State graduate and Morehead State graduate.
Third down and 8. They set up the screen, and it is blown up right at midfield. Manny White got hit immediately by Daniel Kegler.
Kegler is just sitting there, Bob, waiting on this screen pass. Looks like maybe a little bit of zone blitz, and he makes the play. And again, New Mexico's defense rises to the occasion.
And you see there, Mike, UCLA staying away from trying to throw the football down the field, trying to help the freshman quarterback keep his confidence.
Fixie to punt, standing on his own 37-yard line. White counter, let it bounce. Hit a UCLA player. And there's a flag down on the play at the 17-yard line. A 31-yard punt by Nate Fixie, the senior, who doubles up as UCLA's place kicker as well.
Lobo's best offense has been their defense.
What about that?
And I think a silly penalty here on New Mexico of holding on a kick that was virtually non-returnable from the beginning. So once again, field position completely in favor of UCLA here early in this game, Mike.
Bob, they got to get Dontrell Moore back in this football game. He's their running back that can control the game on the ground.
You know, in New Mexico, no question, likes to run the football and play great defense. But UCLA is a big
During the kick,
defense.
holding against the receiving team. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Casey Kelly will have the reins of the Lobo offense when we come back. New Mexico with the lead, 6-3.
Hi, my name's Casey Kelly. I just want to wish all my family and friends back in Portland, Oregon, a Merry Christmas.
Now, Casey, a real portrait of courage. He suffered a broken arm in the first quarter against Texas Tech on national TV. Feared that he might be lost for the rest of the season, but he came back just 3 weeks later, still playing, guys, with a plate in his left arm. Amazing story. First down and 10 for the Lobos, once again with poor starting field position. On the out and up, and he just missed Adrian Boyd. He had him open.
Talk about Casey Kelly, Mark. He's the son of a high school football coach in Portland, so he's kind of a coach on the field for Rocky Long.
No question. And right there, Mikey got him into the right play. UCLA in a 6-1 all-out blitz, straight man-to-man out on the corner. Just couldn't get the ball to Joe Manning right there, but he got him in the right play.
Completing 58% of his passes, Casey Kelly, former walk-on from Portland, Oregon. Awarded a full ride in the season last year. Pretty hot hand of late. Second down and 10. Has a man complete for the first down at the 32-yard line. Dwight Counter making the catch.
New Mexico brought the white counter across on motion, and right here you see him running the corner route. UCLA in quarters coverage, and the safety just can't get enough width to cover him. And a great throw right there by Casey Kelly. Mike, big first down.
Yeah,
right there.
because you get out of your own end zone. That's the 31st catch by Dwight Counter.
And now, Mike, don't you have to get the ball back in your freshman tailback's hands?
Got to run the football.
See if Dontrell Moore can regain and recapture some of his poise. Two hands on the ball that time, and Moore brought down after a gain of about 4 yards. Moore having a fantastic season, over 1,100 yards rushing coming into this one.
Mike, can you notice something with New Mexico? A lot of what we call a fly series, where you see the wide receiver motion across. We're going to get a chance to see it right here. You're going to see Joe Manning come across on motion, and they'll snap the ball right when Joe Manning or Adrian Boyd is behind the quarterback. So in essence, it's a 3-back set.
Yeah, deceptive.
Second down and 5 to go. The backup tailback, Landrick Brody. Brody brought down by Marcus Reese.
See, here's where you find out, Mark, what UCLA, the distractions, because I keep thinking they're not going to play. And they're looking for the plane ride out of here. And if they don't stop New Mexico right now, I mean, things are going to go downhill for them fast.
Mike, can you feel like right now for New Mexico, a chance to do something a little different, maybe a trick play right here, because as you mentioned, momentum's now swung on the side of New Mexico. So look for something right here to try to get the ball down the field.
First and 10, that's Boyd in motion on the fly series, but Kelly keeps it himself. Folks, Capital One Bowl Week continuing tomorrow on ESPN with 2 more games. The evening begins with College Game Day Special presented by Outback at 4:30 Eastern. At 5, it's Boston College taking on Toledo. And then number 23, Pittsburgh, taking on Oregon State in the Motor City Bowl and the Insight Bowl, respectively, at 5 Eastern and 8:30 Eastern, respectively. More information, log on to ESPN.com.
Mark, Toledo's a very fine football team. BC's going to get a hold of tomorrow.
Tom Amstutz, one of the rising stars in the coaching fraternity for Toledo. Here's Kelly back in the ball game. It was Malay on the last play, and boy, he got rocked. Faoa making the stop on the play, drilling Casey Kelly.
You see New Mexico go with the empty set, run the quarterback draw. And Mike, watch this hit right here. Retracing his steps on the draw. The defensive lineman, Faoa, great hit. Fortunately, Casey Kelly didn't cough up that football because he put his face right on that ball. Mike.
3rd down and 5 for the Lobos, just short of midfield.
UCLA coming with the blitz right here, all-out blitz.
Kelly runs the screen, a great call against the blitz. Moore, had he broken that tackle, he had a lot of real estate in front of him. But they pick up the 1st down nonetheless at the 43-yard line. Spencer Havner making the stop.
Excellent play call right here, Mike, by Dan Dodd, the offensive coordinator. They catch him in straight man-to-man coverage, throw the ball to the fullback right here. And this thing right now, you talk about open field tackling. Look at all this grass if they do not make that tackle right there, Mike.
One tackle by Havner saved a touchdown.
Backs lining up out of the eye on 1st down and 10. Moore trying to recapture some of that confidence. Got about 3.
Mike, I think you brought up a great point about, we knew coming into this game, if things went according to the plan for UCLA, that UCLA would be tough to beat. But we also knew if it didn't go according to plan, UCLA could start to cave in because of all the distractions and this lack of stability.
Just think of this, Bob. For New Mexico, to beat UCLA would be a big win in the school's history. For UCLA, playing New Mexico, and then all those distractions throws them off.
2nd down and 6. Manning in motion. And whistles and flags on the play. Guys, I want to ask you, you're both still very much coaches at heart. When Moore fumbles twice early in the ballgame, losing one of them, do you risk losing him by sitting him on the sidelines, or do you keep him in there?
False start for
You got to have him in there. He's got to get right back in there. But you made a point, Mark. He's now double clutching that football. It's like a paycheck right now. He's carrying through that line. He's not going to lose it again. You got to, what brought you here, you got to stay with it.
Moore, meanwhile, closing in on a single-season rushing record for New Mexico, needing 113 to eclipse that mark.
Once again, New Mexico with 2 tights in the game shifts out to the 4 on one side, empty formation. Dontrell Moore in motion, going to run the option to the weak side.
Moore on the pitch, made one guy miss, and Moore out of bounds at the 39-yard line. I like these funky looks by Rocky Long.
And I'll tell you what, Mike, the instability or lack of stability in the coaching staff at UCLA, what a tough team to prepare for with New Mexico, because you see how much they do on defense with the 3-3-5, but on offense, we've seen everything in football so far from New Mexico.
Yeah, when you have a bowl game, you got so much time to prepare extra game planning against UCLA. And what they're trying to do is overload UCLA mentally so that their feet don't move.
They don't know what's coming up next. 3rd down and 5. Kelly back to pass. A screen to Moore. And he got the 1st down. Depending on the spot, it's going to be close. Page making the tackle on the play for the Bruins.
Penalty 2 mark, and they're going to get another 15 yards on UCLA. Late hit.
Back-to-back 3rd downs, Mike. They come with the screen pass. Excellent play calling by New Mexico.
To slow down that rush of UCLA's defensive line and the blitzing.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul against the defense for a late hit. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Mike, it's going to be on Ryan Bichetti, number 75, defensive lineman, showing good effort chasing the football on the screen, but just a silly play right there to come in late.
And with 4 seconds to go now, New Mexico inside the red zone. That's the end of the 1st period of play, and Rocky Long said this bowl vindicates a bunch of people that turned around a season that was headed south real quickly. The Lobos threatening when we come back. Back at the base of the Sunrise Mountains, part of the beautiful landscape here in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl, beginning the 2nd quarter here. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey, Mike Gottfried, and Holly Rowe down on the field. The crew in red with the lead right now, 6-3. There's a look at New Mexico in the red zone. Justin Millay in at quarterback, number 11. On the fade, caught but out of bounds, incomplete to Dwight Counter. Covered by Matt Ware. Let's take a look at our ESPN game track. Some of the pertinent points of the game so far. And the big play, that interception return, 55 yards by Desmar Black off the errant throw from Drew Olson. And then the first ever female to kick in a bowl game, Katie Haneda, having her extra point attempt unfortunately blocked, but still a historical moment in bowl play. This is the 12th play of the drive for New Mexico. Casey Kelly back in at quarterback on 2nd and 10. And Moore drops it, incomplete. Check that, it was Adrian Boyd. Bob, Mike, what about having that historical moment? They missed the extra point. Your thoughts?
Mark, here's my opinion. If Katie Haneda is the next best kicker, or she is the best kicker that gives you the best opportunity to make this a 7-3 football game, then she should kick.
Gotcha.
If she's not the best kicker, you're doing the other players on that team a disservice by having her kick that extra point.
Unless they bought into it and they said, hey, we're going to do this for the team, that's the only way I'd let her kick the extra point.
Rocky Long, guys, maybe measuring a little risk against reward like many people do here in Vegas. We have a timeout on the field called by New Mexico, and the Lobos playing some very inspired football, winning 5 of their last 7 down the stretch. Rocky Long, a guy who grew up in Southern California, grew up a Bruin fan, in fact. We'll be right back. New Mexico with a 6-3 lead here in the second quarter just underway. And folks, bowl people, you better keep an eye on Lobo fans because they have traveled very well here to this Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. 3rd down and 10 for the Lobos. Counter in motion. Malay on the reverse and the throwback. He's got a man, but his receiver falls down. Incomplete, intended for Mike Bruckner.
They had it, Mark. And they had the touchdown pass, and the receiver fell down. Brunker.
Well, once again, Mike, you see a wide receiver trying to throw a touchdown pass, and I'm sure they worked on this all camp. He is wide open in the end zone. You see it right here, but the ball's thrown over his outside shoulder, and the tight end cannot adjust to that football.
Yeah, Zach Cressup.
And Kenny Bird, the true freshman kicker, is in to attempt a field goal.
Just 1 of 1 on the season. And he hooks it to the left from 34 yards out. An opportunity gone by the wayside. Guys, so many things happening with these players. A great week for both teams. Part of it Saturday, a pie eating contest. This was kind of nasty. It's a lot of calories right there on the plate there, Mike and Bob.
They do a good job here in Las Vegas. Sega Sports, Tina Kunzer Murphy, the bowl representative here. Both teams are happy they're here, and they enjoyed it.
Mike, they do a great job. And yesterday at the luncheon, Deacon Jones gave one of the greatest talks, if you're a defensive player, that I've ever heard given at one of these functions.
And in at quarterback is Matt Moore, and he gets a rude reception from Ratcliffe, who blitzes him and brings him down. Matt Moore getting the start here in the second quarter, a little bit more mobile than Drew Olson.
Started versus Stanford and led him to a victory. But again, he's seeing a defense that you need a lot of preparation time to excel against.
And you see that wolfback, number 9. Brandon Ratcliffe, Mike, coming on the blitz. Once again, the 5 across the board looking the secondary.
Guys, that was their 35th sack of the season. Now they run the draw, the Bruins do. Find a little bit of success. Number 29, Manny White. A punishing and bruising runner.
Manny White is a big, strong, fullback-looking type, but they play him in the 1-back a lot as the remaining back. And you see him right here come on the draw, and I want to see you watch him finish this run right here, Mike. He runs through the safety, number 6, Sidney Wiley, Excellent play call, excellent execution on the drop.
UCLA ought to be able to run against New Mexico.
But Mike, once again, it's 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
Advantage to New Mexico. Look at this coverage back here. No pre-snap read for the quarterback.
Moore trying to figure it all out. They're 0 for 3 on 3rd downs. Completes the pass to Junior Taylor. And Junior Taylor knocked out of bounds right at the 27-yard line, and it's short of the 1st down.
Here's the other thing, Mark. When you go in this football game, UCLA's defense gave up a drive that started at the 9-yard line and ended with a missed field goal. Now, New Mexico's going to get this football right back again, and your defense got to be right back on the field, Bob.
Mike, can you look at this punt formation for UCLA with the 2 wideouts on the same side? A unique punt formation. Look for the kicker to kick the ball to his right to take advantage of the coverage with the 2 gunners on the same side.
3rd punt of the day for Fixie. They come after him and almost got to him. Counter lets it bounce. And it takes a Bruin bounce at the 38-yard line.
Mike, that punt should have been blocked by number 17, Billy Strother, right there.
Yeah,
UCLA got away with one.
Just make a mental note of that the next time they punt the football.
And Strother acting like that was one that just got by and that just got away. A close call for Fixie kicking the ball. We'll be right back. Rocky Long, the head coach of the Lobos, just giving some instructions to his defense moments ago. Lobos on offense right now. Casey Kelly in a quarterback. That last drive, when they missed the field goal, 13 plays, using up about 5:37 on the clock. Under 13 minutes to play here in the 1st half. 1st down and 10 for New Mexico. Moore brought down just shy of the 40, and boy, New Mexico guys almost got to that last punt.
Well, in man-to-man punt protection, the tackle has number 2, the 2nd guy from the outside. UCLA ends up with 2 guys blocking number 3, and they let Billy Strother come clean from the outside. So the tackle didn't block out on the number 2 man. Billy Strother, Mike, almost blocked that.
2nd down and 8.
See another formation from New Mexico right here.
Kelly drops back and almost is picked off, and it's caught at the 43. Boy, great concentration by Brian Penley.
Yeah, Spencer Havner should have had the interceptions on this, which would have flipped the field for UCLA.
Mike, kind of a different play. They start the zone option to one side, then the throwback. And as you mentioned, Spencer Havner had a chance for the interception. But when momentum's on your side, good things continue to happen.
The town where Lady Luck always figures prominently. New Mexico catching a break. 3rd down and 4. Havner, meanwhile, a freshman All-American, one of a couple on that Bruin defense. Kelly surveying the defense out of the shotgun this time. Manning in motion on the fly series. Kelly keeps it himself and tiptoes out of bounds at the 46-yard line. See where they spot this. Looks like he's close to the 1st down. Not sure that he got enough.
I think he's short, Mark.
It's going to be 4th down for New Mexico.
And the way you're playing defense, you got to punt the football.
Rocky Long, the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year, spent 2 years coaching at UCLA, was admittedly looking forward to coaching this game before the firing of his friend and former head coach, Bob Toledo. 4th down and 2. Goss gets off a returnable punt. Ebel has a little bit of room. A flag down on the play, and Ebel brought down at the 40-yard line. Tyler Goss, the punter, making the tackle on the play.
And Mike, you see a lot of penalties in the kicking game. These teams haven't played in a while, and if you don't scrimmage the kicking game full speed, this is just what happens. It's just like the first game of the year again.
I agree. A lot of mistakes and field position lost. You know, when you go back, UCLA's going to back on offense. Mike Seidman, the tight end, is a guy we have not called his name yet. He's a guy you have to get the football to.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
Mike, I think that's a great point, that Mike Seidman's had to stay in and maximum protect these blitzes in New Mexico. They can't get them out in the route.
When we come back from this break, we'll be speaking with the new head coach of the Bruins, Karl Dorrell. They reached back and got one of their own as a head coach.
I'm excited, I'm privileged, I'm honored to be the new coach here.
Well, that was a week ago. Karl Dorrell, the new head coach of the UCLA Bruins, now with the Denver Broncos as an assistant coach, and he was named head coach on the 18th. As I mentioned, now the Broncos' former coordinator at the University of Washington and at Colorado, and a former wide receiver with the Bruins. So wide receivers on the field for the Bruins, probably good news for them. And we'll be speaking with Karl in just a few moments. First down and 10 for UCLA. Lots of movement up front. And a flag on the play.
Once again, you see the issue. Do you check at the line of scrimmage with the young freshman quarterback against those multiple looks, Mike?
No. Let the play go.
We have offside against the defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
All right, we want to bring in Karl Dorrell, who's joining us by telephone from Denver, Colorado. Karl, first of all, congratulations and season's greetings. Want to know, first of all, do you have any kind of timetable set up for selecting your coaching staff?
You know, by the way, Merry Christmas, everyone. You know, my timetable is, obviously, I'll be really busy this week. I'm flying into Los Angeles tomorrow and get a chance to meet with a couple of representatives there, and then I'm going to meet with the staff that's in the bowl game right now as we speak on Friday. So it's going to be a busy week, but the timetable obviously will be with this week.
Karl, this is Bob Davie. Has the magnitude of what you've got yourself into hit you yet, particularly being a UCLA graduate and having the opportunity to come back to your school and taking over this program?
Yeah, it has. You know, I think when I first accepted the job, I was more starstruck, I guess. But now I understand the significance of this job, and you know, these last few days here, I've been really reflecting on the staff and what potential staff I'm trying to put together, and along with the consideration of some of the coaches that are on the current staff. And there's a lot of things to think about, a lot more things to think about as a head coach than as an assistant. But nonetheless, I'm excited about the opportunity.
Karl, how many of these coaches on the current staff do you figure to retain?
You know, I really don't know that number yet. You know, obviously I'm going to keep a very good open mind as I meet with all the individuals. There's some particular things I'm looking for that obviously if there's some philosophical similarities from what I have with what they have, you know, I just want to get a chance to get to know some of these guys and to see where they're coming from as a football coach and as a person.
Karl, with two freshman high-profile quarterbacks, Drew Olson and Matt Moore, both freshmen, same year, a lot of competition. How are you going to keep both those guys and not have one of those guys transfer over the next couple of years?
You know, definitely that's a big challenge I have before me. Both of them are very highly recruited kids, and playing as true freshmen, I think, you know, we'll have to see how things unfold, actually. You know, when we get things going in the program and obviously getting to know both of them, you know, and trying to find out what's important to them and what factors are involved with them keeping them both to be Bruins. So there's a lot of things that are on the table about that situation, but I think we'll be able to work things out.
Karl, UCLA with a reputation for groundbreaking and pioneering with the likes of Jackie Robinson and Arthur Ashe, and now yourself as one of just 4 African-American head coaches in Division I football. Do you feel an extra sense, as some coaches do, or some might call it even a burden, of being able to be very successful early at UCLA?
You know, I think any head coach, regardless of skin color, is going to be under the burden of being successful. You know, I know this is a significant part of history, me being one of the 4 black coaches in Division I. I understand the significance of that, but regardless of my color, I think that the biggest issue is that you got to win. And that's really what my focus is on this great institution I'm going to work for.
Carl, thank you very much for joining us. Season's greetings and good luck in the future.
I appreciate that, guys. Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl.
That's Carl Durrell, the newly named head coach of the UCLA Bruins. He'll be very busy in the next little while.
And you see the talent that Carl Durrell is going to inherit here. Junior Taylor, Mike, I really like him, a young wide receiver. Also Tab Perry and Craig Bragg. And the big tight end, Mike Seidman, who's graduating, but a lot of young players on this UCLA football team.
First down and 10 for the Bruins from near midfield. That's Manny White. Well, Carl Durrell just one of several Division I coaching changes. Mike Price recently named the head coach at Alabama, and down the list we go, fellas.
Interesting, Mike Price, who is a great guy and a great coach, Mike, going from Washington State to Alabama. You don't think the dynamics of his life have changed, coaching at a high-profile place like Alabama where they live it 365 days a year.
Yeah, he's going to need to hire some people in the state of Alabama to know where to go to find the recruits.
2nd and 9, Moore under pressure, gets it off, and overthrows his receiver at the 10-yard line, intended for Craig Bragg. 7:39 to go now in the first half. UCLA with just a field goal to show offensively.
And interesting, you see UCLA there keep everybody in a one-receiver route with Craig Bragg going down the field. That's how paranoid they are, Mike, about getting pressure from this New Mexico defense.
And they had a pretty good shot there because their receivers are better than the corners in New Mexico if given time.
Physically speaking, UCLA, a very imposing-looking team down in the field. We took a look at them before the game.
They won the contest, the bus contest.
Here they come again, Mike. I think they're offsides there.
Flag down on the play. The reception made at the 35 by Craig Bragg, the go-to receiver, the leading receiver for the Bruins on the season. But there's a flag down at the 50-yard line, so hold on just a minute.
Mike, and you're right. If UCLA can protect...
Offside gets the defense. That penalty is declined. The yardage is enough for a first down.
Something you see with New Mexico. Rocky Long does not like to play bump and run. So, Mike, you see the depth in which these corners are playing off. They're going to take advantage of that, come down and run the simple square-in route right here to Bragg. Rocky Long does not like bump and run, so those throws are there if they can protect.
Bragg with 51 receptions coming into this one, the team's leading receiver. This the 9th play of the Bruin drive, backside of the eye. Ebel brought down at the 29-yard line with a nice chunk of about 6. Golden making the stop on the play.
When you have two freshman quarterbacks, I think Matt Moore has benefited from the standpoint of being on the sideline and watching Drew Olson come out here and struggle. And all of a sudden now Kelly Skipper, the offensive coordinator, is getting a feel for New Mexico, and Matt Moore is benefiting from that.
From a personality standpoint, Moore a little bit more fiery and outspoken than Drew Olson. He pitches it to Ebel on the option. Not a great decision. Ebel brought down for a loss way back at the 38-yard line by Sidney Wiley, the Lobo back.
You are going to see again Brandon Ratcliffe. They call him the Wolfback. Here he is up the field, Mike. He's really a strong safety. Tough to run sideways against New Mexico because they bring so much pressure off the corner.
He's got a pack of wolves with him, too.
If
he's the wolf, yeah, he's got a pack.
This New Mexico defense, a treat to watch here. So far, 3rd down and 11. Moore is going to sling it. And the official reaches for his flag as Seidman, the tight end, got downfield, guys.
I think it's a bad call, Mark.
Looks like he tripped.
Their feet got tied up, and that ball was not going to be caught anyway.
Fashola and Desmar Black were in on the coverage on the play, and we talked about how Seidman had been very silent by his inaction so far.
And you're going to see on the replay, New Mexico only rushes 3 people. They have 3 or 4 guys back covering Mike Seidman. Mike, I agree with you. I'm not sure that was a catchable ball.
No.
The good thing about it, if there is any positive, it's only a 15-yard penalty in college football.
Yeah, but it keeps the drive moving, and they had them stopped. And you're right, New Mexico went into a kind of a prevent style of defense on that play with no pressure.
There's a look at Olsen on the sidelines now. The signal caller, Matt Moore, his understudy in at quarterback, moving the team down to the 22-yard line. The Bruins with their best looking drive of the ball game so far.
Again, Mike, UCLA with 2 tight ends in. Really 3 tight ends on this play. Come with the power play off tackle again.
Evo brought down shy of the 22-yard line at the line of scrimmage. And let's talk about Tyler Ebel. 5'9", 170. We saw him at the luncheon the other day. He's a little guy, but he says, give me the ball. I got my Mighty Mouse tattoo. I can take it between the tackles.
Mark, during the Big Ten, we've had some short tailbacks. You look at Freddie Russell from Iowa, White at Wisconsin. But the difference, he's slightly built. He's about 165 pounds. He's not very big.
Second down and 9. Ebel the lone back. Pressure coming off the corner. Moore throws it up for grabs. Incomplete. That thing was up in the air a long time. For more on the Mighty Mouse, let's go downstairs to Holly.
Well, guys, Tyler Ebel has been small all of his life, but his dad, Dennis, is a Marine, and he instilled a pretty tough attitude in this young man. In fact, after his freshman year of high school, when he made the honor roll, his reward was the ability to get the Mighty Mouse tattoo. He also started wearing a Mighty Mouse t-shirt under his jersey. He's done it ever since that freshman year in high school. It's so little now, he's had to cut out the neck and arms, but he's still got it on under that jersey.
He's buffing up, guys, huh?
I don't think New Mexico will sit back and play maximum zone coverage here this time. They learned last time, Mike, they're better off coming after him.
And that's what they do. 3rd and 9. Moore had it tipped to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 9.
Bronco Mendenhall, the defensive coordinator, and Rocky Long have got a feel for UCLA. You talked about 3 tight ends offense. They can't run the ball in 3 tight ends offense because it's like playing in a phone booth. And then when they open it up, they blitz them.
And they're much better off, Mike, bringing the pressure.
Fixie, meanwhile, guys in for a field goal attempt.
Here's where the missed extra point costs you right here. If he makes this.
A chance to tie it up. Fixie. Now 2 for 2 on the day. This one from 39 yards out. He's 12 of 13 on the season, 2 of 2 today. Hey, number 7 got him 3 on the board. We'll be right back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2002 Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Brought to you by Las Vegas, the freedom from Dullsville. When Vegas calls, will you be ready? And Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there. Only in a Jeep 4x4.
Back at the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl, I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Mike Godfrey. And look at the scoring drive moments ago. 14 plays, 57 yards, 6:21 on the clock, and capped by a 39-yard field goal. We got Holly Rowe down on the field, and an absolutely beautiful day here in the desert. Ratcliffe brought down just shy of the 20-yard line. And folks, Capital One Bowl Week continuing tomorrow on ESPN. 2 more games. We start the evening with College Game Day Bowl Special presented by Outback at 4:30. In the Motor City Bowl at 5 Eastern, Toledo will take on the Boston College Eagles. And then at 8:30, another Big East team, Pittsburgh, taking on Oregon State. Hey, guys, we saw Pitt early this year against Texas A&M. Couldn't get the offense going. What a tremendous turnaround with Rod Rutherford, especially at quarterback.
And Mark, they played great defense all year. But Rod Rutherford, the big freshman wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald, they've got some talent on that football team.
Dontrell Moore, the pitch into the boundaries, brought down at the 25-yard line, gain of about 5.
Mike, we go back to that last UCLA drive, kicking the field goal. The significant play, the 3rd down penalty. Mike Seidman, the big tight end down the field. You said it, the penalty kept the drive alive. UCLA gets the field goal.
Bad call. And this is a good officiating crew. Rogers, Redding, SEC, bad call.
2nd down and 5. Dontrell Moore, the lone back, 3-receiver formation. Casey Kelly on the quick slant, complete at the 32-yard line by Terrence Thomas. Wow, he hung on to it.
You see UCLA, not a nickel team. They leave their linebacker in the game. They have Spencer Havner out there, and it really doesn't matter who's out there because that's a great throw and a great catch right there by number 81, Terrence Thomas. But UCLA, Mike, doesn't substitute. They like keeping their 4-down linemen, their 3 linebackers in the game. New Mexico feels like they can spread them out a little bit and take advantage of that.
First down and 10, Manning in motion. They give it to Moore. And Moore runs it out to the 34-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Holly.
Well, guys, one of the questions you had before the game is UCLA, would they come to play today? Well, I can tell you the differences from the 2 sidelines and let you decide. UCLA, very attentive on the sideline. They're focused, they're asking their coaches questions, and they definitely are interested in this game. But there's an energy on the New Mexico sideline. The best way I can describe it, they're like kids opening presents on Christmas morning. They are hyper excited, and it's really showing up on the field. Yeah,
so far, a pretty good stocking stuffer, too, with 6 points on the board, raising some eyebrows collectively. Tied with the Bruins with 3:26 to go in the first half. Second down and 8. Adrian Byrd with the carry, his first of the ball game out to the 35-yard line.
Dontrell Moore is hurt, and he's on the sideline, so now that's going to affect the New Mexico offense. The other thing, I don't get a feel for either one of these offenses. They get something easy, you know, some big play. They got to work for everything they get.
Mike, these are 2 pretty good defenses, though. You look at UCLA last year under Phil Snow, first in the Pac-10 in total defense, and up until the last 2 games this year, Washington State and USC, 1, 2, and 3 in every defensive category in the Pac-10. So pretty talented defenses.
On 3rd and 7, incomplete. Casey Kelly facing a little bit of backside pressure, and in comes the punt unit, led by Tyler Goss for the Lobos. Meanwhile, Moore being attended to on the sidelines. If he sits down, they lose 1,100 yards in rushing.
And what you don't like to do, obviously, is give this football back right now to UCLA with 2:34 left in the half, and Matt Moore heated up a little bit there on his last possession.
Craig Bragg drops deep for UCLA.
New Mexico with 2 true freshmen, a kicker and a punter in their special team, so huge advantage to UCLA in the kicking game.
Goss gets off a high spiral at the 21-yard line. Bragg, nice return out to the 35-yard line, and a lot of fun and festivities here in the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. A sing-along. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
A lot of New Mexico people here.
It was the quarterbacks against the quarterbacks at sing.
Sorry, Mark. I didn't want to. I know you want your Elvis deal. I'll let you do your Elvis thing.
UCLA threesome of quarterbacks winning the event. Moore, Olsen, and John Shara. First down and 10. Seidman in motion. Flag down. Incomplete. Hit Simon right in the hands.
We're going to have an offsides on New Mexico. Their right defensive end, Daniel Kegler, jumped the snap count a little bit, I believe.
The other benefit when you're a new quarterback.
Offside gets the defense, a player in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
All of a sudden, you've been listening to cadence for a quarter of one quarterback, and then all of a sudden, Matt Moore, again, a benefit because he comes in, changes cadence a little bit, and he's got a couple offsides.
Bottom line, Mike, do you like alternating quarterbacks or not?
No. No, but it's
you seem pretty positive about it right there.
It's worked for UCLA here in this game.
Matt Moore at the helm right now on the jailbreak screen. And that one well read Junior Taylor made the catch, but had no room whatsoever.
We made the comment yesterday, Mike, watching New Mexico practice, how small they were on defense. But I'll tell you what, I've got respect for them. Watch them fly to this football right here, and just count the number of white shirts that you see around that ball. And like you said, that's a pack of hungry wolves right there.
They're active.
1:46 to go in the first half. Tied at 6, a defensive battle so far.
Again, you see the Wolfpack creeping up, coming from the outside.
This is Manny White. White brought down just over the 40-yard line at the 41. Got about 4 to go for the first down. Let's go downstairs to Holly. Hey, Holly, what's up with Dontrell Moore?
Well, Mark, right now he has a right ankle injury. They're still trying to evaluate him. He's walking along the sidelines. They think they can get him back in the game. They're going to give it a few minutes and reevaluate him in the locker room at halftime to see if he can rejoin the offense in the second half.
They made him back, and a real engaging, pleasant young man. Had a chance to visit with him at practice a couple of days ago. 3rd down and 4. Seidman in motion. Almost picked off. Reese Davis, what's going on at halftime?
Mark, coming up on the Dodge halftime report, for those of us in the East watching the snow pile up, we'll be able to experience Christmas in Hawaii as we get ready for the second half of our Christmas Day Bowl doubleheader. We'll also check out who's flying under the radar, both in the bowl games and some players to watch in Capital One Bowl Week. And we'll also talk about the day after Christmas and a few games that you will not have to return because of a poor size.
You know, we saw Reese's hometown in his high school. We did the game down in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, Division II. It's not like going back to Crestline where there's pictures of you all down up and down those hallways. We had to confirm Reese went there.
Everybody in Crestline, Ohio. Merry Christmas.
A great punt back to the 5, where it's fielded by Counter. A 54-yard punt.
What looked like a safety?
What?
Yeah, it was close.
That really looked like a safety.
Now, here's where UCLA, they got 2 timeouts. You're going to see quarterback sneaks here, and they got to force this punt right here. They got to work on getting the safety. New Mexico's got to get rid of 45 seconds. What a mistake.
Dwight Counter fielded it.
That's a safety.
That was close.
No, it's not a safety.
I think it's a safety. What?
It's on the inch line.
Mike, which inch line? Look now. Take your tape measure out.
Hey,
look at the monitor.
It doesn't matter what your monitor shows. It matters where that football's lined up right there.
Beautiful.
See that? Right
Tell
there.
me how that ball could be spotted.
Right there.
How can that ball be spotted on this side when he was tackled on that side of that line?
I can't answer that, but they got a quarterback sneak here. I can answer that.
99 yards and about 20 inches away from the end zone. Casey Kelly keeps it himself, folks. Following us at 8 Eastern, our Christmas Day Capital One Bowl Week double dip continues when Tulane takes on Hawaii and their explosive offense. It's the inaugural Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl. And keep an eye on Timmy Chang, one of the more talented quarterbacks in D1 football, and already his name on the lips of many Heisman people voting next year, especially his head coach who's pumping him up for the award.
Hawaii's got a good football team. Mark saw them against Alabama. Very good defensive football team. Chang is going to be a Heisman candidate.
All right, we got a break, and hey, if we're not in Hawaii, I'd love to be right here in Vegas. We'll be back. 2nd down and 9 for New Mexico. Justin Millay now in at quarterback. UCLA with a couple of timeouts remaining. Millay keeps it on the quarterback sneak. Got about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and about 8 to go for New Mexico. Let's take one more look at that.
We have
punt.
to take a good look at this. And I know right now, Mark, I think it was a safety. Mike doesn't. You're the 3rd member up here.
No, I said I don't think it is because they put the ball on the half-yard line. That's why I said it's not a safety. I don't care what the pictures show. It's not a safety.
You want me to be the tiebreaker, get in the middle of this, huh?
No, stay out of it.
Okay.
Stay out of it. There's no point to get involved
Bob,
in this.
it's 6-6 right now. It's not 8-6.
That's what the scoreboard says. You know what? I thought that it was just outside of the end zone. Just close. But why would Counter, guys, field it that way? I mean, aren't the rules of thumb you plant your heels on the 10-yard line, let it go over your head?
He will not be back there in the second half if he did that on that play.
I tell you, one of the questions coming in was how prepared would the Bruins be, and Ed Kazarian, boy, we got a sample of his fire and brimstone speech making at the banquet, Bob. He got his guys seemingly ready to play at this point. Right
well,
now.
There's no question. He took a bunch of time to prepare that talk he gave yesterday. That was a great talk. But Rocky Long got his defense ready to play. I'm really impressed with Rocky Long and the defense of New Mexico right here in this football game.
On 3rd down and 9, they keep it on the quarterback sneak.
Ed Kazarian's got a lot of time, Bob. He's only got one game. I mean, this is it for him. He's either going to be 1-0 or 0-1.
A lifer at UCLA in Westwood. Kazarian's team tied at 6-6 as the first half of action is in the books here on Christmas Day. Rocky Long and his Lobos going to the locker room. They probably would take this score if you'd asked them before the game. Let's go back to Reese.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And you know what? The score ought to be 8-6 if you ask me. You know, you see this happen from time to time. You see the plays in the kicking game and the tackle close to the line, and they always spot it on the 1-inch line. They don't want to make this call like the Grinch taking away 2 points from the Bruins.
They were, this officiating crew. I'll tell you what, that is a bad call by the officiating crew. And if you look at this game, I'm looking at the head coach of UCLA, Ed Kazarian. He's on the sidelines, very stern, walking around. Be happy. It's Christmas. You're only going to coach one game with these kids. They're not even having a good time out there. Carl Durrell's going to come in another week or so, and he's going to take over this team. But these kids should have a good taste in their mouth about the offseason.
You don't have a good taste in your mouth when you can't run the football. That's wrong. What's wrong with UCLA? Tyler Ebel, last 2 games, they struggled to run the ball. Once again, UCLA offensively with about 26 yards rushing. They're not going to beat anybody with those young quarterbacks if they don't run the football. And by the way, Mark, he's only coaching for 1 game. Give the guy a break. He's an academic counselor. He doesn't even know what's going on out there.
That's the whole key of it. He's coaching for 1 game. Enjoy. It's Christmas.
Onside kicks, trick plays, trickeration, gadget plays, all of that kind of stuff. You know who did have a great first half? Probably Martha Burke, because Katie Snyder got to kick.
Well, there you go.
Got to try. Coming up on the Dodge Halftime Report, we talk about some games flying under the radar.
Quiet, Trev.
This halftime report brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Bruins and Lobos tied up at 6, halftime of the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Glad to have you with us, and Merry Christmas to everyone. You know, a recent study checked out all the graduation rates from 4 classes ending in the 95-96 season, and the school that was #1 atop the list, the Tulane Green Wave. 80% of the Green Wave football players from those classes earned their degree from a prestigious university. Tonight in the ConAgra Foods Hawaii Bowl, there will be a fast-paced, high-level graduate course final exam against the University of Hawaii. Steve Levy and Rod Gilmore are there.
Mele Kalikimaka, very Merry Christmas from Honolulu. Please, despite what it looks like, tell the bosses Rod and I are working very hard as we get set to bring you the inaugural ConAgra Foods Hawaii Bowl. It will be Hawaii and Tulane. No more time for fun in the sun. It's time for football and business, and that's what Timmy Chang is all about. Took him a whole 20 games of his college career to become Hawaii's all-time leading passer, and he's hot. In 8 of his last 9 games, he threw for 360 yards or more. And Rod, he will lead the #1 pass offense in the nation against an opportunistic Tulane defense here today. Now, the raging controversy here in Hawaii is June Jones says they have 4 running plays. Chang said it's only 2, Rod. What about it?
Who cares? It doesn't matter. They're not going to run the ball that much. When you throw it 50 times a game, you're pretty good. And with an accurate quarterback like Timmy Chang, we could see more than 50 passes.
Speaking of more, very nice transition. Tulane's Mweldy Moore, the guy each of the last 2 seasons has led the Green Wave in rushing and receiving.
As good as any all-purpose back in college football. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Allen, the great USC and former Oakland Raider player. He can get out of the backfield and catch the ball down the field as a wide receiver. Inside, he can run the ball hard, a slashing runner, not a powerful back, not a speed guy, but a slashing runner, and we'll see him get about 35, 40 touches in this ball game.
Moore told us just the other day it's the first time he's ever seen a beach in Hawaii. Never seen a fire dancer either, I'm sure. Back to you.
You know, maybe we should start this theme. Those guys are in Hawaiian shirts. Maybe we should have had Davian Gottfried in Wayne Newton or Siegfried and Roy suits since they're in Las Vegas. Mark, Timmy Chang put up great numbers. A lot of guys, if you throw it that often, they're going to put up good numbers. What is it that makes him unique?
I think, first of all, it's his head coach, June Jones. And June Jones has always been a master of creating great quarterbacks in the NFL and college. But for Timmy Chang, it's his vision. It's his decision-making with the football. He knows exactly what to do with it when he wants to. Now, here he is in the pocket. He's talking to his receivers, giving them some hand signals, sitting right, looking there, zing.
He's telling him, look at that field.
Right to the pole. Justin Colbert. But you've got to have great pass protection. Vince Manawai, 6'2", 330, benches 500. Now, that's a snot bubble blocker if I've ever seen one. 60 pancakes on the season. He will be drafted in the NFL in the first round, in my opinion. And I think I'll go very high in the first round.
You know, you mentioned it. That's the matchup, obviously, with Timmy Chang and that Tulane defense, defensive backs, and they got some nice defense. I mean, you're going to hear about Tulane's offense a little bit, but they've gotten there because of their great defense. You see here defensively, and 21 interceptions, very good. But the thing that impresses me way down at the bottom, Mark, see that little yellow thing? It says did not allow any team 300 yards passing. They have a great player in Lanellis Elpage at cornerback, and you have to assume that Justin Colbert will be shut down by him. I think if Tulane's going to have a chance in this game, they just simply have to beat Tulane. Do what they do. Run the ball with Muelde Moore. Understand that they're the third-ranked team in college football in terms of turnover margin, and Elpage also is good in terms of returning punts, 13 yards a game. So I think if you're Tulane, do what you do. Don't try to be Hawaii. Hawaii's going to throw the ball all over. Be Tulane.
They haven't given up a 300-yard passer?
What did I say?
Timmy Chang will give up 400 yards against his defense.
And you know what?
Well,
Tulane,
you got a point.
111th in total offense. But you know what? 2 of the 7 worst offenses in college football are bowl teams, and one of those, North Texas, has already won its bowl game. So Tulane's got a shot. You can see it on the Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl. But, of course, we got a second half coming. The Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl in a bit. We're back with Under the Radar after this. Back on the Dodge halftime report, and we are 30 minutes into the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Lobos and Bruins tied up at 6 at the break. Well, we are at halftime of the 4th bowl game of the season and head on into Capital One Bowl Week. We're going to build toward that championship game, and along the way, the Bowl Challenge Cup, which ESPN is presenting to the conference, which has the best winning percentage if you have 3 representatives in postseason games. Some of these games, though, might slide under the radar just a little bit. Maybe the Axel Liberty Bowl is one of those, Trev.
That's the game for me, Mark. I mean, I think if you look at this game, Colorado State and TCU, the reason why I love this game is both teams know exactly what the other one's going to do. Colorado State's going to run the football. They have Cecil Sapp. He's had 1,500 yards. They rush for 215 yards a game, but you're going to play against this defense. Look at 44. There's old Marcus McDonald, fantastic linebacker, and 43, Jared Smitherman from the outside. A defense that only allows 62 yards rushing game. See the interception there. That's the matchup I like. You know what I like, Mark? Smack him in the mouth. This is real football. It's no fancy stuff where you're doing this faking stuff. We do this. You do that. Let's see who's better.
Trev
I think
Alberts
TCU gets it done.
Well, let me tell you what. The viewers out there, you know the truth. You like offense. You like scoring. This is what you're going to get out of the Humanitarian Bowl. Boise State, Iowa State, Seneca Wallace. We talked about them at the beginning of the season. They started off 6-1. They finished the season 5-6. They lost 5 out of the last 6 games. But you still have the magic at the quarterback position by Seneca Wallace. Here he's going to drop back, and he's going to scramble a little bit, look for his receiver, throw the ball deep, just a flick of the wrist. There's a touchdown in the end zone. And this is what he gives you. He gives you the ability to score when he's running the football. Great vision, great cuts, great runner with the football. And on the other side, Ryan Didwitty, excellent quarterback throwing the ball, 3rd in the nation in pass efficiency.
Brock Forsey,
yeah,
too.
they have an excellent offense. It'll be interesting to see if Iowa State has anything left in the tank. And over these last 24.5 games, who are some players we ought to keep an eye on, Mark, as far as under the radar guys?
Well, one guy you just mentioned, Brock Forsey. He leads the nation in total touchdowns with 29 total touchdowns. And he's the reason why Boise State's been so successful this season. He rushed for over 1,500 yards. That's a player to keep an eye on, puts up big numbers for Boise State.
I think there's 3 players in the Houston Bowl, and I think some of us know about these guys. I mean, Josh Fields at Oklahoma State, quarterback, sophomore. I think he could have a huge game. And how about Tatum Bell as running back? Rashawn Woods at wide receiver. Now, he's a junior. He may go pro. If those 3 guys both come back, I'm telling you something now. Oklahoma State's on a roll. Les Miles is back. This team could be something to be reckoned with next year.
You know, Rashawn Woods, if he comes back, they will have 30 of the 44 on their 2 deep back for next year. Oklahoma State might be a rising force in the Big 12. We are at halftime. UCLA and New Mexico. Boy, you're not going to get an easier pick 6 in that one. You will paint it black. Lobos and Bruins tied at 6.
This halftime report brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
And Capital One Bowl Week hits high gear tomorrow. A couple of games. Motor City Bowl will start it off. Boston College and Toledo. You know, the Big East, a favorite to win the Bowl Challenge Cup. A lot of good-looking matchups for that conference there, but you never know. Toledo will try to spoil it in the Insight Bowl. Pittsburgh and Oregon State, that is the nightcap. So for a little insight on these two games, we will start in the Motor City Bowl. What about the life of Bryans and the two quarterbacks here, in Brian St. Pierre and Brian Jones? Start with St. Pierre.
Yeah, obviously for Boston College, it's Brian St. Pierre, and how he goes is how his football team goes. Kind of had an up and down season, and I think, you know, when you look at this team, take a look at him here. When he's comfortable, he's a fantastic quarterback. You're going to see him here in the shotgun throwing to Jamal Burke. That's his favorite wide receiver. He's got a nice tight end in Sean Ryan as well. But what really makes this offense go is Derek Knight. 1,400 yards rushing. And the bottom line in this game, playing a Toledo team, Mark, is they have to be physical. Run the football. With this young man right here, right at Toledo's defense, they have a chance to win.
Well, if you look at the Toledo football game, it's all about respect. This is a football team that has gone to 2 consecutive bowl games under their second year coach and Tom Amstutz. And they want the respect coming out of the MAC conference going against the Big East Conference football team. But the reason why they've had success this year is their quarterback, Brian Jones. First-year starter in this offense under Tom Amstutz. Loves to spread the ball around. He's a very smart quarterback. Here he fakes the screen, then goes right across the middle to a wide-open wide receiver for the touchdown. Now, fake the option. Inside, run with the football, throw it on the run. I love a quarterback that can throw the football on the run with accuracy.
He's throwing with the wrong arm.
No, he's a good left hand. Right there to the tight end. He loves to spread the ball around. He goes to wide receivers, to running backs, uses his tight end in the red area.
Great player.
Yeah, third in the nation in passing efficiency. He has been outstanding. As far as the nightcap, the Insight Bowl, Pittsburgh and Oregon State, this is a really intriguing matchup, I think. The exciting wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald against good defensive backs from the Beavers.
Well, you tagged him as the best freshman wide receiver in the country. I only had him on the best on the east of the Mississippi.
No, I say all over. I'm spanning the globe.
Yes, he is the best wide receiver in the country, and this is why. The way he goes after the football, has huge hands and body control. Here against Virginia Tech, watch him go up and gets the ball. Now, he wants the ball. It's like fresh meat. Give it to him. He goes over the defender. And against Miami, he does the same thing in the corner of the end zone, loves the corner of the end zone, fights the defender off, goes up and gets the football. Now, that's what you love to see out of a wide receiver. Use his body, use his hands, but concentrate on that football and come down and make the catch.
Yeah, he's a great player. I think the matchup in this game is the Pitt defense and Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator, versus Oregon State's offense. And I think when Oregon State has struggled offensively, it's because people have shut down the running game. And you can see here at quarterback, Derek Anderson has been, kind of up and down. He's only completed 47% of his passes. There's James Newsom, his favorite wide receiver. But once again, I think the key is Steven Jackson, running back here, see him number 34, 1,600 yards rushing. I think that's the key in the game. Paul Rhodes will put 8 or 9 guys up. He will do whatever he has to do to shut down that run. I think it comes down to Derek Anderson making plays early in the game, throwing the ball to then open up that running game if they're going to win.
Anderson struggled after a great start, and Jackson Erickson is just effusive in his praise about Steven Jackson. We've got a second half coming up from the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. We are tied halfway through at 6. Tyler Ebell getting to know the Lobos, Brandon Reg, but second half's coming.
Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Back at halftime at the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl, New Mexico and UCLA deadlocked at 6 apiece. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey and Mike Gottfried, Holly Rowe down in the field. Season's greetings to all of you from us here at ESPN. Guys, one of the big storylines coming into the game was UCLA. It would have been easy for them to go in the tank with a head coach that won't be coaching them next fall, but they've come out ready to play.
Mark, I agree, and I give a lot of credit to UCLA's assistant football coaches, particularly their defensive coaches. I mean, they virtually shut New Mexico out here in the first half. New Mexico's only score on an interception return. I think for UCLA on offense, they're not going to consistently move the ball against all those looks of New Mexico, but maximum protect, throw the ball down the field, catch New Mexico in a blitz, and try to get a big play. And, Mike, I think special teams before this game's over will play a big factor because we've seen a lot of mistakes in special teams.
Yeah, Bob, go back to New Mexico. They had a chance to put a dagger in the heart of UCLA. Missed extra point. They took the ball from their own 9 all the way down the football field and missed a field goal. So if they could score a touchdown, they'll get UCLA ready to pack and get on that plane.
New Mexico's defense has been very stout during the first half. Coming into the ball game, they averaged just 3.2 yards per rush for opponents, and they've been pretty much up to snuff in the first half, allowing UCLA just 26 rushing yards. The Bruins to kick off, the Lobos to receive to begin this third quarter of play. With New Mexico to receive the ball, one wonders whether Dontrell Moore, who was shaken up in the first half, will be ready to go here in the second half. On the return, that's Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe with a nice kickoff return out to the 42-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe.
Guys, Dontrell Moore will play here in the second half. They have rewrapped his right ankle. He does look a little bit stiff, and he's running on it a little bit awkwardly, but he will try to play. Rocky Long also said he let Katie Knight kick that field goal or extra point attempt because he felt like she deserved it. I know you guys were wondering that in the booth. As for UCLA, Ed Kazarian, he said they are going to continue to be patient. They're not panicking right now despite the 6-6 score. He also said they will let Matt Moore, the quarterback, start this third quarter instead of alternating back to Drew Olson.
And I think Ed Kazarian, he doesn't have to panic.
No.
Because next week he goes back to academic coordination.
Out of the spotlight and not under the heat anymore. Moore brought down at the line of scrimmage, the 40-yard line. Let's take a look at our ESPN game track. Some of the big plays so far, it has been a defensive struggle, and that is the pivotal play so far. Desmar Black with a 55-yard interception return for a score, and then there's the extra point that was blocked. The kick coming from Katie Knight. She made history that she was the first female to attempt a kick in a bowl game in Division I football. Second down and 12 for the Lobos. Casey Kelly, incomplete. Intended for Joe Manning. It'll be third and long. You get the feeling that New Mexico, guys, has problems throwing it vertically downfield.
Well, right there, Mark, New Mexico caught UCLA again in an all-out blitz, straight man-to-man, had excellent protection. They just couldn't beat Joe Hunter, the corner. UCLA clearly an advantage, Mike, in talent in this football game.
Oh, without a doubt. Will we see a screen pass right here? Had success in the first half with it.
Third down and 12 for New Mexico. This is their best starting field position of the ball game. Dontrell Moore brought down at the line of scrimmage at the 40-yard line by Rodney Leslie, a guy who right now contemplating his future. Does he stay or does he jump to the NFL? Just a junior.
Yeah, and Bob, you talked about UCLA's coaches settling this football team down. You come out in the third quarter and you have 3 plays and out, so now it's up to the UCLA offense whether they learned anything in the first half.
And let's credit UCLA's defense. Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator.
Their defense has been outstanding.
I mean, here's a guy that did a great job for 2 years at UCLA. There has to be a little bit of feeling, hey, I could have been the interim coach. Great job of preparation so far.
Gauss. And here is Bragg. Stays on his feet amazingly, and he's got an alley. Oh, Craig Bragg. Merry Christmas, UCLA.
You talked about it, Bob. Special teams, big play.
Mike, it's just like the first game of the year again, coming out of bowl preparation. How many times do you think in bowl practice New Mexico actually covered a punt, full speed, live coverage tackling? Probably never. But also you see the athleticism of Craig Bragg. Carl Durrell has to be a happy man. That plate's pretty full coming into UCLA next year to coach this football team.
Oh, he's got a lot of talent.
Vixie in for the extra point. Boy, Bragg took a hit and put it on spin cycle. Guys came out of there, and nobody was close to him after that. A 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. And the first time the Bruins touched the ball here in the second half, they put 6 on the board.
And 2 non-offensive touchdowns already in this football game.
Vixie with the extra point, and UCLA jumps out to a 13-6 lead. Craig Bragg, and certainly this is a play that you can brag on a big bit. Took the hit and went the distance. Craig Bragg, number 87 for the Bruins, who broke J.J. Stokes' sophomore receiving records this year with a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. And UCLA now leads 13-6. That was his first career punt return for a touchdown. From the 2, and boy, they didn't fool anybody on that reverse attempt as Ratcliffe was brought down at the 10-yard line.
A couple things on this punt return by Craig Bragg. First of all, you're going to see missed tackles right here. But even more importantly, Nick Spiegel loses contain. Contain means you have to keep this football inside of you. Don't allow it outside. So Nick Spiegel loses contain. And Craig Bragg, Mike, you see the speed taking it to the end zone.
And New Mexico right now offensively has to stay exactly the way they played this first half. Patient, because if they get down 10, 14 points, it's over.
You see him again in the quads to one side, spreading the field in an empty formation.
In motion, that's Presap. Incomplete at the 20-yard line, intended for counter.
Mike, I'd like to talk about something. You see New Mexico, you're an offensive coach, doing just about everything there is in football. I mean, they're from 2 backs to 1 back to empty. Do you feel like New Mexico has an identity on offense?
No identity right now. And I think the injury to Dontrell Moore took them out a little bit of the running game. But they had success with the screens, have not come back with a screen pass since the first quarter.
Second down and 10. Casey Kelly at the helm still for the Lobos. Starting field position on this drive once again very poor. In the fly series, they give it to Boyd, and he's brought down immediately at the line of scrimmage, the 10-yard line. A nice stop by Spencer Havener.
And we talk about this fly series that New Mexico runs. We're going to get a chance to see it right here. The ball snapped with him right behind the center, and they hand the ball here. But New Mexico, Mike, went and visited Arizona State. Arizona State does an awful lot of the fly series. It's obvious UCLA's seen this stuff before because they've done a great job against it.
Yeah, UCLA sitting at home and playing off blocks right now. The dominating defense in this football game.
Mike, I wouldn't be surprised to see another screen right here.
Here's Kelly to throw, and now takes off himself. Got an alley. Casey Kelly going to get the first down near the 30-yard line. A big play and a big conversion that time, and a missed tackle by Havener.
You talk about a big play, Mark. You're exactly right, because if they punt this football back to UCLA, who knows what's going to happen. Casey Kelly, the coach's son, right there, scrambled, picked up the first down. A great move right here. He freezes a defender and then breaks away the first down.
And how about the soft cast right here on his left arm? He actually had a plate put in there and some screws in the middle of the season.
Has a 6-inch plate in there with 6 screws that'll come out after the season. First down and 10. Kelly again. Well, his legs are working as well as his arm. There's a flag down, though, back at the 25-yard line. Casey Kelly, if this stands, will pick up another first down for the Lobos.
We're going to get a holding on the right offensive tackle, number 75, Jason Ensmeyer right here, that negates just an excellent run.
In this play, the holding penalty was behind the quarterback, Casey Kelly.
Holding against the offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, replay first down.
And Mike, I think you bring up a great point. You're going to see the hold right here. He just arm wrestles him down to the ground, and it's no significance at all because the defender's behind the quarterback.
Just roll him on by, but that's big-time wrestling at its best.
2 points for the takedown. First down and 20. They move it back to the 20-yard line. Casey Kelly, the junior quarterback, former walk-on, showing that he can scramble and run a little bit on the last 2 plays.
What makes it worse is first and 20.
Kelly has a man downfield, hits his tight end, Presap. He gets back some of that yardage to the 37-yard, make that the 35-yard line.
Another part of the fly series package. Bring the fly back in motion, snap the ball, and then come with the boot. And you're going to see number 85, the tight end, come out off the boot and make a big completion right here. But once again, Casey Kelly, Mike, good on the run right here.
Misdirection. Anytime type of misdirection seems to be working for New Mexico. They got the screens and then the misdirection pass
Mike,
play.
you've done a lot of games. Have you seen any more different offensive
No.
sets and plays than what New Mexico did?
A whole bag of tricks. Second down and 5. Some strong running from Landry Brody. Filling in for Dontrell Moore. Let's go downstairs to Holly Rowe, and a late flag on the play. Ryan Boschetti involved in the little fracas down there.
He was giving Christmas wishes.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yes.
A little bit late, but hey, why not?
I'll tell you, New Mexico will take that one.
He was holding the mistletoe up. And,
After the play was over, we have a dead ball, personal foul against the defense, 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, automatic first down.
Attack on a few more yards in New Mexico's favor. And it'll come across midfield to about the UCLA 44-yard line.
We're going to get a chance to see it here late. Both these players tangled up. Right there, you see Boschetti right there.
like you always see the second hit.
Hey guys,
referees always see it.
Interesting on 1st and 10 here. Both Justin Millay and Casey Kelly in the ball game. There's the double reverse counter. And right counter out of bounds at the 35. A nice gain
Mike,
for New Mexico.
It's every play there is in football you're seeing today. Here you're going to see Dwight counter. Not on the counter, but on the reverse. And at the end of this, it's very close to being another 15-yard penalty on the sidelines because he's taken down clearly out of bounds. But you're seeing the gamut. This is everything in football.
But you know why Rocky Long is doing this? Because they can't run against UCLA. They can't do the conventional things. It's the things like a reverse or misdirection plays that are working for them.
A lot of smoke bombs and mirrors. 2nd down and 2.
They're like Siegfried and Roy here.
Yeah. This is the town for it, and there's more back in the ball game. They ran the fly series, but faked it, and for more, let's go downstairs to Holly.
Well, guys, you talk about everything in football, and that's true. Rocky Long actually played a little single-wing tailback at high school. And so that fly series has some of the elements of the single wing. He actually got some old tapes of Doak Walker, the famous running back, when he was in high school running the single wing. Back in the 1940s, he said that that's where he got some of his ideas. He does a lot of it to try to keep his only quarterback, Casey Kelly, healthy, but digging into the reaches of college football history for all the plays for this New Mexico team.
You just look over here, Mark. It just seems like a lot more smiles on that sidelines with New Mexico. I mean, there's a lot of guys enjoying this game because it's kind of a can't-lose situation. Let's face it, coming out of the Mountain West Conference, playing UCLA, it's kind of a feel-good story at New Mexico.
They came in here with their chests collectively swollen up with pride. 3rd down and short, about 1 to go. And they blow the play dead.
Mike, too long at the line of scrimmage right there.
Yeah.
Too much margin for error with those big offensive linemen having to hold that stance that long. They're going to get a procedure penalty right here on New Mexico.
Dead ball foul.
Dead ball foul. False start against the offense. Movement in the offensive line prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
When you get belted on your headgear for 3 quarters, you don't want to be sitting there. You want to come off the ball. Quick count, quarterback sneak, but I didn't like the play call either.
Coach Rocky Long's guys using a lot of finesse.
You'll wonder at some point if they come back to the screen again, if they had so much success on, but they're not in the formation right here, Mike, that they run the screen on.
3rd down and 6. Counter in motion. They come with a blitz, the Bruins do it, they get him back in midfield. Marcus Reese just lacerated that offensive line, knifing in there to make the big play.
And it's incredible because New Mexico turned back, protect, both backs in protection. Look, it's turned back protection, both backs, it's maximum protection, but you're gonna see Marcus Reese come through unblocked. They should have been able to pick that up in that protection.
Yeah. Marcus Reese, the leading tackler on the UCLA football team, the 1st year as a starter. Tells you a little bit about the talent.
His 4th sack of the season. Last time the Lobos punted, Bragg took it back 74 yards for the score. This time He calls for the fair catch at the 12-yard line, a 38-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Well, it's warm and sunny here in Vegas. Well, not quite warm, but it's about 50 degrees. Not the story back east, but don't really feel for you. See you. We'll be back.
I'm Drew Olson. And I'm Matt Moore. We're the two quarterbacks at UCLA. And I want to wish everybody in Piedmont, California a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, especially back home in Valencia.
All right, and there's a look at more. I want to wish my family, my wife Sarah, and my kids back in Miami, my mom and dad in Toronto, and my brother up there a Merry Christmas, and my in-laws in Wisconsin.
Mark, I'd like to do the same. Wish my wife Joanne, my daughter Audra, and my son Clay back home in South Bend in the snow, and looking forward to getting back home late tonight.
And I would like to wish Mickey, my wife, and Mindy, who's back home, and Marcy's out here with
Dead
me.
ball foul, false start against the offense. Entire offensive line moved. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And I have two hometowns, Crestline, Ohio, and Mobile, Alabama. All of wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And Mike, a lot of people, we know this because of coaching. These players started back in August, players and coaches. They're away from home today on Christmas Day. It says a lot about these two teams to come out here and play this hard on Christmas Day away from home. I know they'll be anxious to get this over with and get back home as well.
Yeah, but they played well.
Ebel out to the 16-yard line.
It's going to be a big series for New Mexico's defense right
Let's
here.
go back to that last series, Mike. New Mexico has the football deep in UCLA territory, 3rd down and 1. The procedure penalty makes it 3rd and 6, and then they get sacked. Negates an opportunity to score points.
Let it be holding them right here. You're going to get the ball right back. Good field position.
2nd down and 6. Big sacrifice that these players make being away from home and in foreign places during Christmas. Bragg brought down short of the 1st down at the 19-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Holly. Holly, Christmas for you too.
That's right. I want to wish everyone happy holidays.
Oh.
And especially my son, McKylan, and my mom and dad, and all my brothers and sisters. And I'd like to wish you guys also. It's been a fun season working with all of you.
It certainly has. I second that motion.
You know what? It just doesn't seem right, Mike. You and I both from back east. A cactus decorated in Christmas lights. It's just the pine tree thing is what Christmas is really all about, right?
I don't know, Bob. I live in Miami. I like that sun. A sunny-looking play for the Bruins. Nice catch by Manny White. And White looking to punish a few DBs in the process out to the 42. There's a flag down at the 30.
Mark, they got away with one holding, but then the umpire caught another personal foul, I believe.
Yeah, Mike, that one's coming back. That's holding. There were multiple holds on that play.
Ed Kazarian going with Matt Moore here to start the 2nd half.
Holding against the offense. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
Guys, do we underestimate or overstate either way the importance of this game and how much of an audition it is for the players? Mike?
No, I think you're exactly right, Carl. Durrell sitting back in UCLA or in Denver right now. But just take, for instance, 2 quarterbacks, Drew Olson and Matt Moore. Matt Moore's had the better today. But how do you keep 2 quarterbacks happy that are pro prospects down the way? Because both these guys are excellent quarterbacks.
Looking at 3rd down and 2 for Matt Moore. Lobos coming with pressure. Batted down. Nice play by Terrell Golden, the former walk-on, the 5'10 junior. And it's 4th down. In comes the punting unit for the Bruins.
Mike, once again, your favorite position, the Wolfpack coming on the blitz. And you're going to see number 3, Terrell Gordon. He ends up the field. He's underneath, and he just snuffs the ball in the backfield. This New Mexico defense is good, Mike.
See, you got to be tough to be a wolf. You know, if you're going to have a term, wolf, and Terrell Golden is a good wolf.
4th down.
Once again, New Mexico almost blocked the punt earlier.
Wow. And a great one by Fixie. All the way back to the 26. Counter. A 10-yard return off a 54-yard boot by Fixie. A little extracurricular activity after the whistle. Bruins leading by 7 points with 6:18 to go. UCLA 9-4 in their last 13 bowl games, but the Lobos hanging tough when we come back to Las Vegas.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2002 Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Brought to you by Las Vegas, the freedom from Dullsville. When Vegas calls, will you be ready? And by Saturn, makers of the View, redesigned L Series, and the all-new Ion.
I'll tell you, I took a walk down Flamingo Road the other day, guys. Thought I was in Paris when I saw the Eiffel Tower. I was a little bit stunned. Stay away from those blackjack tables, though.
Mark, this is your kind of town. Of course, I've seen you everywhere. I've seen you in Iowa City, Madison, Wisconsin.
You saying you like my derby?
Every place is your kind of town. That's a fumble.
That's a loose ball. Dontrell Moore recovers it, fortunately for the Lobos. Back at the 26-yard line. Brendan Chiller there to put the clamps on him. UCLA has been a very strong third-quarter team all year.
You see how dangerous this is? It's clearly a backwards pass. Dontrell Moore, you see right there, his eyes aren't on the football, Mike. He's looking down the field.
He saw that block being missed.
Exactly.
Dontrell Moore, the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year this season. Having troubles hanging onto the ball today, guys. Lost a fumble, recovered one of his own, and that time unable to make the catch. Now 2nd down and 19. They come right back to him, though.
Moore, the ball carrier.
Showing a measure of faith, and actually that's number 34, Brody, on the carry.
Mike, we talk all the time about staying in rhythm on offense. First down. When you have a negative play like that on first down, it's almost insurmountable to kind of come back and have a manageable third down.
Yeah, get the punt team ready, because this is a big third down for New Mexico. They need something good to have this offensive football team. You see UCLA dominance in the third quarter.
Mike, just don't turn it over. At least punt the football back UCLA up. If you don't convert the third down, don't have another negative play.
Kelly on the screen, but read very well that time by Marcus Reese, the top tackler on the defense, the captain of the team, one of them.
There's that screen I was asking for.
Well,
it didn't work.
You're going to see Marcus Reese right here, the middle linebacker in a one linebacker defense. You're right, Mike. He smells this thing out, then accelerates. Just too athletic for the offensive lineman to block. Marcus Reese having a good football game.
Well, your point about getting behind the chains on first down, they're not good enough on offense to overcome with their passing game.
And their worst nightmare, Carl Bragg back returning this punt right here for UCLA, and it's a low liner.
Goss has it bounced, and he gets a very, very good roll down to the 23. Got about 20 yards of bounce. Bruins will start from their own 23 when we come back to the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl.
Hi, I'm Claude Terrell, and I want to wish all my family and friends back in Lamarck and Albuquerque a Merry Christmas. I miss y'all. Ashley and Amber, I love you guys too, and Merry Christmas.
All right, 1st down and 10 on Christmas Day here. The sun out in full fashion. And a beautiful, kind of chilly day, but right now UCLA leading by 7. Lobos coming with some pressure. Moore on the out and up downfield for Bragg, and it's incomplete. Well, folks, following us at 8 Eastern, our Christmas Day Capital One Bowl Week double dip continues when Tulane takes on Hawaii and their explosive offense since the inaugural Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl. Timmy Chang at quarterback for the Rainbow Warriors. Look at those impressive numbers on the season. Over 4,000 yards passing. 2nd down and 10. Backs lining up out of the eye for the Bruins. The toss to Ebel into the boundary. Ebel gaining about 8. It'll be 3rd down and 2 to go for UCLA. And Bob, what about this 3-3-5 defense? We've seen a lot of that this year. Is it in vogue?
Mark, I don't think there's any question it's in vogue. You just look in this conference, in the Mountain West Conference. Air Force now runs it. Bronco Mendenhall, the defensive coordinator in New Mexico, is now going to BYU. BYU's going to run it. West Virginia, Wake Forest, South Carolina, Mississippi State. It's a unique defense, and once again, you see these Wolves creeping up on the line of scrimmage, bringing pressure from the outside.
The pass complete. Out of the backfield, J.D. Groves, the fullback. And depending on the spot, it looks like he got the first down.
You see the pressure coming. The screen pass from Matt Moore hits the fullback out in the flat. Good open field tackle right there. It looks like they're going to measure right here, Mark. But something really unique about New Mexico's defense. They play every player left and right. They don't flip anyone. So you never have a predetermined idea who the rusher is and who the dropper is, Mike. And there's just so many different combinations of blitzes. I like this scheme of defense. I think it gives teams like New Mexico a chance to scramble around that are undersized and make things happen.
It's like the wishbone on offense, because the wishbone at Air Force keeps them in the ball game in the Mountain West Conference. But I'm going to say this. I think UCLA's getting a better read on it right now. They're doing a better job here in the second half of play calling. Kelly Skipper, who's play calling without Bob Toledo's help today, because usually Bob Toledo made the calls.
Well, Kelly Skipper, the offensive coordinator, saying coming into this game that this is a great chance for him and for his offense to show well and to finish on a high note. First down and 10. Lewis in motion. Eagle with a nice run over the right side. Folks, we will welcome the men and women of Operation Enduring Freedom watching the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl on AFN, the Armed Forces Network. And a special salute to those assigned to the 39th Wing, taking a break on Christmas Day in the Low Places Lounge in Incirlik Air Base in Turkey. Happy holidays, folks, and thanks for all that you do protecting our interests on foreign soil.
Mark, they're the real heroes.
No
God
doubt.
bless all of them.
Second down and 3. Eagle again. Hit at the 43-yard line. Close to another first down for UCLA. We're here at Sam Boyd Stadium for the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl in New Mexico, out of the Mountain West Conference against the Pac-10's UCLA Bruins. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie, Mike Gottfried, Holly Rowe down in the field here on Christmas Day in a defensive battle so far. The key play so far was the interception return by Desmar Black, and then another one for UCLA right here. Bragg on a 74-yard punt return, breaking a couple of tackles, and then after that untouched down the sideline. First down and 10. Give it to the first man through, Manny White. Stopped up by DJ Renteria. Manny White was actually the starting tailback at one point, and he subsequently not really lost the job, but they decided to use him in a different manner and brought in Tyler Ebel, and the rest is history. Ebel running for almost 1,000 yards in the season. And Manny White's folks, guys, have legendary tailgate parties before the games. I was looking for them in the parking lot, couldn't find them before this. Second down and 7. There he is again, Manny White. Out over midfield to the 48 of New Mexico. And a flag down on the play.
Looks like we're going to get a holding right here on UCLA. Once again, a penalty plays havoc with these offensive coordinators trying to call these plays, Mike.
Flag down on the play. Holding against the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
Well, there's more great college football action as Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow on ESPN with 2 more games. Boston College Toledo in the Motor City Bowl at 5 Eastern. Then the Insight Bowl, Pittsburgh against Oregon State at 8:30 Eastern time.
Mike, you talk about these different conferences as we see Toledo right there going against Boston College in the Motor City Bowl. I'm impressed with the Mountain West Conference. A lot of good athletes in this conference. They play a lot of big-time non-conference games. 22 of the 40 non-conference games they played this year were against bowl teams, and they always play them on the road. So the Mountain West Conference, I think, is an up-and-coming league.
Now second down, and they come up with a sack, led by Nick Spiegel on defense. With under a minute to go here in the third period, the Lobo defense still howling.
Well, and you see now Nick Spiegel, the outside rusher. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead. Turned him loose. Another big sack right here for New Mexico's defense.
Yeah, what I was saying, Bob, when you get a team, New Mexico gets a team behind the chains, well, they turn it all loose.
Third sack today for the Lobo defense.
And Mike, once again, we go back to the holding penalty.
Yep.
All of these long yardage situations are results of penalties.
3rd and 19.
Here they come again.
Bringing the heat on Moore. A lot of contact. Both the receiver and the defensive back falling down at the 37. Junior Taylor being covered by Desmar Black, who already has a pick for a touchdown, and now they woof at each other a little bit. And Black
a lot of woofing going on in this football game, Mark. It looks like both teams right now, these coaches need to get these players together and settle them down. But I think early in this route, you're going to see Junior Taylor push Desmar Black. Mike, very rarely do they ever call offensive pass
interference. All year I've seen some bad calls in pass interference. That's a one call that's not uniformed in the country, around the country.
Well, you know, Mike Bob's a defensive coach, so he would see it that way, and that they never call it on the receiver, right?
Well,
yes, he would. I agree with him, Mo. That guy was
valid point.
Pushed.
A valid point, though. Valid point. Seemed to have his hands in the DB's back that time. 4th down, Fixie into punt. Another good punt by Fixie, driving counter back to the 15. Boy, he seemed to have an alley coming back the other way, but he cut it to his right.
Needed
48-yard punt. Well, 3 periods are in the books. 15 minutes to go here at the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl on Christmas Day. We'll be right back. Back to the studio. In the city of entertainment, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Back for the start of the 4th quarter with the UCLA Bruins leading 13-6. New Mexico, though, with the ball 1st down and 10 from its own 19-yard line. Landrick Brody plowing his way down to the 23-yard line. Let's take a look at our ESPN game track. Desmar Black with the first big play of the game, a 55-yard interception return, his first of the season, and took it the distance. And then Craig Bragg with a 74-yard punt return for a score, gave the Bruins the lead. It was 6-6 at halftime, and that play right there has been the difference maker.
Mark, the one thing New Mexico has had some success with is play-action pass, counter boot action, hitting the tight end. I look for him at some point to come back to that off-play action.
Casey Kelly. It is picked off. It bounced off Krisaps' back, and this will come back for a score. Page for the Bruins. An incredibly unfortunate bounce for New Mexico.
Well, they came with the play action. They did throw it to the tight end. As you see, number 85 right here working to the flat. The unfortunate thing, it bounces off the back. You see Jared Page, the true freshman, pick it up and might take it to the end zone. This should be a penalty right here.
Yeah.
But the true freshman, Jared Page, has had an excellent year. Really misfortune right there for New Mexico. The ball bounces off. Zach Krisaps back, touchdown UCLA. How many non-offensive touchdowns now? I think that's 3 in this football game. A punt return and 2 interception returns for scores.
The type of play that can really take a lot of wind out of your collective sails. It's something that the Bruins have done all season long. Returns for touchdown. September the 14th, Spencer Havener scored on a 23-yard return against Oklahoma State. On October 5th, Ricky Manning scored his first career touchdown against Oregon State. And then November the 2nd, Havener again picked up another touchdown, 42 yards. The Bruins continuing the trend here today. And then December the 7th, Ben Emanuel II scored on a 41-yard pick against Washington State. And then just a few moments ago, this one, courtesy of Gerard Page. Boy, bounced off of the shoulder pad of Kriset. You didn't like that little move at the end there, did you?
Well, not that I didn't like it, but at some point, it's a penalty. One thing in New Mexico's favor, and I know right now it looks bleak because New Mexico is not a quick strike offense by any sense of the word, but they played 4 games this year that came down to the final play of the game. So they've been in a bunch of close games. They've been behind before. Mike, this was a 2-4 football team that came back and won 5 of their last 7. So it's not over yet.
UCLA. Oh. UCLA, his defense, Phil Snow, got to give him credit. Now, they really had a good game plan, and New Mexico needed to run the football. Without Dontrell Moore, they're behind the 8 ball.
Nixie with the kick. Wow. And he got all of this one. Lobos will start off on their own 20-yard line. And you ever think about painting yourself blue? Well, check this out. Plenty of bowl week activities for both teams. Sunday, both teams checking out the Blue Man Group live at Luxor. Now, these performances are like no other and features 3 bald and blue characters. Look at this. A multi-sensory experience. Coach Rocky Long, the brave type. Unafraid, yeah, looking for the other one on the other side of the cheek. And after the show, the players and coaches met the performers. A good time for everybody involved. First down and 10. Casey Kelly finds his man, Manning, and he put it on the ground. And the Bruins come up with the turnover at the 31-yard line. Brandon Chiller.
The wheels are falling off the wagon.
Well, Mike, and when you're the underdog, you can't turn the football over. You're going to see Joe Manning right here. The ball is stripped out of there, and Chiller, the linebacker, comes up with the turnover. Once again, you mentioned Phil Snow. You mentioned this defensive football team. New Mexico hadn't scored on them all day, and UCLA has scored on defense. So clearly, this defensive football team from UCLA deserves a lot of credit.
First down and 10. The Bruins working with a short field at the 31. Moore on the quick 3-step drop.
Now you talk about a defense got to bow up right here because they cannot afford, with their offense struggling like they are, to give up any more points.
Yeah, but let's talk about a heck of a deal as we see Rocky Long. Let's talk about Ed Kazarian. One-time shot as the head coach, UCLA grad. This is good as it gets. It's 20-6, coaching in a bowl game, winning the bowl game.
He's going to make history because if he holds on, he'll be the only coach in America ever to be 1-0.
Hey, what about
quit? Yeah, I quit.
Go out on top. This is Ebo, stopped up at the 26-yard line. Kazarian started Olsen, then brought in Moore in the second quarter. Moore has led the way. Both of these guys filling in for Corey Paz. Holly Moore. Holly?
But Corey Posh, you know something about playing quarterback for UCLA. What must these young freshmen be going through? A bowl situation, their first real action of the year. It's been stressful.
Yeah, you know, Coach Rocky Long, he's got a unique defense, and I think we struggled a little bit in the first half with, you know, obviously we've never played against a defense like that. So I think we've made some nice changes at halftime, and hopefully we can score an offensive touchdown here, which we're about to maybe do.
And a nice catch down to the 10-yard line. That's Keith Carter, the tight end. Holly, back to you.
Well, Corey, you're one of the all-time leaders in scoring and passing at UCLA. What's next for your future now that you're healthy from the broken leg?
Well, I'm not quite healthy enough because I would have played in this game, but I'm going to try and just, you know, pursue the professional career as best I can and play for as long as I'm healthy enough, and then we'll see what happens after that.
It's been so unusual to have Ed Kazarian as the head coach here, but tell us what the players think about him. He's been a bigger-than-life figure this week.
Yeah, he's done an unbelievable job, and he's just been great. You know, he's been like the spirit, and you know, answers all the questions and gets up in front of all the people, and he's done a great job. I've learned a lot from him over the years, and learned even more from him in these last couple weeks.
All right, well, thanks very much. Good luck in your future,
Corey. Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, second and goal after that run by Tyler Ebel.
I'll tell you what, Ed likes this. It's a pretty good gig.
Can you imagine Ed Kazarian sitting around drinking a Coca-Cola and saying, you know, when I was the head coach at UCLA, we won this game. We had a great game plan. We did this, did that.
I was undefeated there. Yep. Here's Ebel again. Slips, though, back at the 2-yard line and stopped up right there. Parker in on the stop for the Lobos.
Without a doubt, winning a bowl game is the best feeling in coaching. And playing. Because when the game's over, you get away from football for a while. You get a chance to get home. And when you reconvene for off-season workouts and for recruiting, it's a positive feeling to get back. So don't ever, Ed Kazarian, take for granted winning a bowl game.
But he's not going to reconvene anytime.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah. Third down and goal, backside of the eye. First man through, stopped up at the 1-yard line. Looks like that may have been a fumble.
That ball came out. They froze. Are they going to make the call here?
No.
They're going to say that White was down. Looked like it popped loose for a split second there.
We're going to get a couple looks at this again. Let's just look and see.
See, here's another Ed Kazarian right here. He's going for the 4th down. He's a coach. He's got a chance. Look at it.
They love him already.
There's love. Don't start congratulating yet, Ed.
I don't have to worry about
the end zone just yet.
4th and 1. And
he could be noted for this call right here.
Well, they seemingly rallied around their new interim head coach.
I tell you, it's a high-risk, high-reward call right here, Ed.
Ebel up top, touchdown.
Let's hear it for Ed.
Ed Kazarian rolling the dice and coming up Yo 11, as they say in Vegas, Mike.
Yo 11.
Ebel with his 10th rushing TD of the season. And now the Bruins putting a little bit of room between themselves and the Lobos. Fixie in for the extra point. With 10:40 to go in the 4th quarter, UCLA leading now 27-6, but there is a flag down on the far side of the field. It looks like they're going to have to do this one all over again.
Imagine, Mark, all the alumni meetings. UCLA now has a diplomat. They can send Ed Kazarian out as the winningest coach in college football without. He's batting 100 right here, 1,000.
Oh, here we go one more time. They take it off the board. Fixie, a 25-yard extra point, which is also good. Ed Kazarian says, whether you end up with a nest egg or a goose egg in life, it all depends on who you're partnered with. He's got a good group of partners right now. We'll be right back. Capital Bowl Week continuing in earnest here at the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Bragg and Ebel, a dynamic combo as UCLA storming back with 24 unanswered points. And number 2, the deuce is on the loose as Fixie gets set to kick off. UCLA with a 27-6 lead here on Christmas Day. Things looked rather promising for the Lobos at the end of the first half. We were deadlocked at 6 apiece, but UCLA exploding here in the second half. The Bruins defense now picking it up as the Lobos will start off on their own 20-yard line. Mark Jones, Bob Davey, Mike Gottfried here in the booth, and down on the field, Holly Rowe. Guys, interesting time, and interesting when you look at coaching as a whole.
Well, Mark, we see a lot of smiles on that UCLA sidelines, and they should. Ed Kazarian deserves a lot of credit for what he's done. The players should smile. They're playing a great game. They're going to win. But there's 2 sides to every story, and I can't help but think about Bob Toledo sitting at home. In 1989, I was coaching at Texas A&M. We played a very good Pittsburgh team in the Sun Bowl that Mike Gottfried was the head coach of. He did not get to coach in that bowl game. So in a minute, Mike, you can talk about the dynamics of that from Bob Toledo's perspective.
First down and 10. Kelly back to pass under heat, gets it off. And a nice catch made at the 35-yard line. Casey Kelly eluding harm's way, showing a lot of skill in the pocket. Farrell making the catch.
Bob going back to...
And Mike, interesting point that Bob brought up about the whole coaching scenario, not getting to get the payoff in a bowl game.
Well, in 1989, Pittsburgh told me you could coach in the bowl game, but they said we're only going to pay you 1 year, or you can get to 5 years and not coach in the bowl game. I'm not stupid. I took the 5 years. So even though it was a dark day, it was a tough day. But Bob Toledo's sitting at home right now, and he can't understand probably why he's not here. He started the season, Mark. He brought all these guys in. He recruited them all. He recruited all the coaches. He brought them in there. So he should share in this victory. But what is the reason that he's not here? Because the administration probably doesn't want to see him carried off the field at the end of the game, or an emotional scene, or whatever. But he should be here.
You guys have both been in that kind of scenario. There should be some kind of protocol, you would think, to follow. When you look at what's happened recently down in Alabama with Francione and the Texas A&M situation, as well as recently with the John L. Smith development going from Louisville to Michigan State. There should be some sort of, I'm not saying a manual, but some protocol to follow, don't you think? Being able to tie things up?
There should be, but I don't know if it's feasible, because it's always difficult. The timing, when opportunities come, so many things happen. It's always going to be a little bit sticky anytime there's a coaching change. But I agree, Mike, one of the toughest things is watching your football team, particularly when you have a lot of young football players, 2 true freshman quarterbacks, young wide receivers, young players on defense. You were a 7-3 team at one point in this year. You lose to USC, you lose to Washington State. To sit at home and watch the football team play, that's a tough, tough thing for an outgoing coach.
I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, he was 10-0 playing in Miami. Then all of a sudden he's out of a job and you won't even let him come here and coach. I have to question that move. He should be here. I still firmly believe his team would rather he be here.
And then, Mike, what's so significant, excuse me, Mark, if you look at it, as you know, coaching at Pittsburgh, the Penn State game was huge. When you're at UCLA and you lose to USC 4 straight times, that's a difficult situation. And losing those high-profile games at the end. But I do agree with the point. He should be here coaching this football game if he was provided that opportunity to do so.
No, I don't believe he was. Again, this football team is showed a lot here today, because they could have packed it in early. But I think New Mexico had a chance early to take control of this game and kind of take them on, but they didn't do it. Missed the extra point, missed the field goal.
And now looking at a 3rd down and 14 with under 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. They have yet to throw the ball downfield, instead going underneath. And the catch made once again by number 5, Farrell. His 2nd of the day.
We talked about complimenting the UCLA assistants, because a lot of distractions. They could have spent a lot more time on the phone trying to find a job, but they worked hard with this football team.
And there you see Phil Snow on the sidelines.
He's still into it.
Did a great job at Arizona State, came to UCLA. I believe took them from last in the Pac-10 to 1st in the Pac-10. Right here, 4th down and 12. New Mexico with a last gasp effort right here to convert this thing.
Got to get to the 25 for the 1st down. Casey Kelly steps up. And it's incomplete. Intended for Rashawn Sanders, but Matt Ware was on him tight. And they turn it over on downs. Well, the UCLA Bruins blue looking pretty good right now. And speaking of blue men, check these guys out. Part of the pomp and circumstance of Vegas. The sun now beginning to set on a very pristine landscape here in the desert, Las Vegas, Nevada, and things seemingly setting on New Mexico's hopes. They trail 27-6. Ebo running into the boundary on the toss. Knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Talked about his toughness. The little guy, just 170 pounds, but very durable. His father The Marine that Holly Rowe mentioned earlier in the broadcast used to make him do 50 push-ups, guys, before he was allowed to go outside and play with his friends when he was a kid growing up.
I knew he was a pretty good athlete when I read that he dunked a basketball when he was 16 at 5'6". Now he's not much bigger than 5'6" now.
He hasn't grown that much since. 2nd and 7. And Moore slips and falls. They're going to down it at the 33.
Slipping on the play, a loss.
Excuse me, Mark.
Matt Moore's done some good things today.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say to Bob, he didn't turn the ball over in the second half, and I think that's the difference in the football game.
I think so too, but if you're asking me the difference in this football game, I go back to Craig Bragg on the punt return for a touchdown and UCLA's defense. But I agree, UCLA's offense looks much more under control and stable right now with Matt Moore in the game at quarterback.
Bragg split wide to the bottom of your screen to the right there. 3rd down and long. They run the draw to Ebel.
The ball carrier.
Brought down at the 37-yard line by Moss.
You know, the future is bright for New Mexico. Only 9 seniors on this football team participating in this bowl game today. If you look at their team, Mike, their entire team is back. And even though they're not going to win this football game today, what a great experience. Maybe more importantly, another spring ball. You just practice more times for this bowl game than you will have the opportunity to practice in the spring.
Bob, you know, sometimes you have a goal of getting to a bowl. Next year, their goal will be a little bit more in depth because they haven't been here before.
Fixie with the punt, gets off a rocket. Counter driven all the way back to the 8. Slips and falls at the 12.
I'll tell you what, my most valuable player may be Nate Fiske.
Good call.
Punts and he kicks. He has a rocket for a leg.
A flag down on the play at the 13-yard line after that 57-yard punt.
Let's go, guys. Make a decision, right?
What, are you going to go play the slot machines or what?
I still got a lot of quarters in my pocket. He needs a new audio man.
They called unsportsmanlike conduct on UCLA.
Yeah, there's one of the MVPs today, Nate Fiske, the 5'9" senior, with a 57-yard punt. Anything in the air that long should have a movie on it. We'll be right back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2002 Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Brought to you by Sega Sports and by Capital One, who asks, what's in your wallet?
27-6 with 6:28 to play in the 4th quarter. Here at the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. 1st down and 10 for New Mexico from their own 28. Casey Kelly out of the shotgun, rolls out. Completes it to Dwight Counter. Forward progress at the 32. And today, an interesting portrait, isn't it, Holly Rowe?
Well, this is something you don't see every day at a football game. This is Frenchie, a renowned New Orleans artist who has really have a fondness from sports. His stepfather was a boxer. He got into doing some athletic artistry, and he'll come to many games. He has done all kinds of games around the country, and this print will now be available on FrenchieLive.com. What really got you into doing the football scenes? It's just beautiful.
Well, actually, I'm a big football fan from New England, and I live now in New Orleans, and I've done a lot of work in New Orleans from painting music, and got to meet some of the players, got invited out onto the field, and Mr. Tom Benson was nice enough to grant me field passes for the year. So I got into the football thing, and then so the different Gator Bowls kept showing up, and it's just been a blast. I'm all about the energy, being here, capturing the energy that's being created in brush strokes that I would never do in this.
Well, thank you very much. It's gorgeous work, and we appreciate your energy you're bringing here to the sideline. Thanks very much.
I think Holly needs to commission him to do one of us. I mean, it's Christmas. We're all dressed appropriately, and Holly's got her red on. What do you think?
You know what Frenchie's last name is?
What?
He's from New Orleans. What's Frenchie's last name? Quarter.
You need to get that main stage at Vegas back at the hotel.
Oh.
And a great catch at the 25-yard line as the official falls, as does Dwight Counter, who is working on Matt Weir. Dwight Counter making a great reception.
Every snap you get in a football game with returning players helps you for next year. And here you see Casey Kelly, a great throw down the field to Dwight Counter. Mike, you can't get this kind of training in spring practice. That's why playing in a bowl game, even if you lose, is a great opportunity.
Kelly comes back the other way and threw it behind his receiver, Joe Manning, incomplete.
I saw you with Frenchie last night. You're losing some of your ESPN meal money.
Per diem,
weren't you? Yeah.
What exactly was that doing with
presents in
Frenchie?
the pocket. It looked like you were busting.
All right, let's go downstairs to Holly.
I'm not sure you're where you're heading with that, but I'll let it go back to Holly.
Hey, guys, will you talk about getting some momentum for next season? Senior wide receiver Joe Manning of this New Mexico team took his teammates aside, talked to him, and said, use this as a springboard for next year. So many juniors returning, a chance to really make some noise in the Mountain West Conference. He said, use every practice, every opportunity, every down to make yourselves better for next year. I think that's great advice from a senior.
Yeah, Holly, you look at the graphic right there. You're going to have a nice class of seniors next year, backed up by sophomores and freshmen. That bodes well for their future next year in the Mountain West and beyond.
And you guys remember the night we were sitting in State College on a Friday night. We had Penn State the next day. We watched New Mexico play in that debacle against Texas Tech, but they lost 42 to whatever it was and lost their quarterback. For them to come back and win 5-7 and be here, that's a testimony to the leadership of this team.
Well, that's what Rocky Long said. He said this bowl game is a tribute to all the players that turned the season around when they were 2-4, and it looked like they could have easily given up, but there was a team meeting after that game. And subsequently, they were able to say, you know what, it's not about the individuals and awards anymore, it's about the team. And they finished up winning 5 of their last 7.
Yeah, talking to the players and the coaches, both, they all said that was the turning point of the year. I think it was 49-0.
But it
was a rout.
Yeah. 3rd down and 15. But here they are back on national television once again. And certainly didn't lack for effort today, although on the scoreboard, not the result that they wanted so far.
Way too many long yardage situations for New Mexico. To give you an idea, they're 107th in the country in pass offense out of 117 teams.
Kelly underneath, complete to Manning. Manning put his hat on the defender down to the 11-yard line. So they're not giving up with 5:35 to go.
You see why New Mexico's coaches told us Joe Manning, the senior that Holly just told the story about, is the fastest player on this football team. They throw an underneath route. He just simply outruns the linebacker, Dennis Link, and picks up a 1st down.
With 5:35 to go, the nose of the ball just outside the 10-yard line. Manning still in the ball game. Counter split wide to the left. Manning to the right. They go to Manning. Touchdown. Joe Manning with a great catch from Casey Kelly.
They were finally able to beat bump and run man coverage. Joe Hunter, the corner, has done an excellent job all day on Dwight Counter. And right here for the first time today, you see Dwight Counter go up, and that is very close to being out of bounds. But Mike, it's 27-12. It's Christmas.
Get ready for the onside kick.
See it up.
Merry Christmas.
Casey Kelly.
I think they just got a gift right there.
They
Dwight
did.
Counter.
They did.
Might have turned his ankle, came up limping a little bit, but Casey Kelly with his 14th touchdown pass of the season, the 22nd of his career. Bird now with the extra point. And now they trail by 14 points. This Manning certainly no ordinary Joe with this catch. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dave Ball of the UCLA Bruins.
And I'm Matt Ball of the UCLA Bruins.
And I'd like to wish you, as well as all the viewers out there, a Merry Christmas. And I'd like to give you a special gift of poinsettias, Matthew. Thank you, David. And I'd also like to wish you a very Merry Christmas, too. And we'd like to wish everybody in Dixon, California, a Merry Christmas, as well as all over the world.
I tell you, those Ball brothers really are something. They've been known to phone into the UCLA campus radio station, disguise their voices, pretend to be elderly women, you know, go to comedy clubs, hang out. They keep everybody loose on that sidelines and on the field. Meanwhile, New Mexico, no doubt, going to try and attempt the onside kick, down 14 points. Goldstein is going to kick it off. They go high with it. Fair catch called at the 31 by Craig Bragg, who's been everywhere today. Capital One Bull Week double dipping continuing on ESPN. Coming up next, we'll send you to Hawaii for the Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl. The Warriors against the Green Wave at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's coming up right after this game. What about that Tulane program, Mike? Interesting things happened there with Lossman.
Lossman is the quarterback. He used to be at UCLA, transferred to Tulane. Many thought he would have been the quarterback on this football team if he just stayed.
John Shira in at quarterback now for the Bruins. Ebel pushed out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
One thing UCLA coaches are hoping for right now, they can stay in bounds and run this clock.
You see a shot over there at John Pierce, UCLA's quarterback coach. I had the opportunity to coach with John at Texas A&M. He went on and was the head coach at Stephen F. Austin. He's retiring today after 33 years in the coaching profession. Heck of a high school football coach back in Texas, and then got into the college ranks. He's a good guy and a good coach.
2nd down and 4. Carl Durrell coming in shortly to take charge of this UCLA Bruin program. If you were with us earlier, we spoke with Carl Durrell, who is now an assistant coach with the Denver Broncos. He will wait things out and finish off the season with them and then be on campus soon in Westwood.
I think the other coaches are going to meet with him on the 27th of December to try to plead their case for a job. And this is a staff that is very capable. And so I hope that some of these coaches get on with UCLA.
And you see Mercedes Lewis, number 19, a young, talented tight end, wide receiver from UCLA. Once again, some of the young talent on this team.
Akil Harris, the backup tailback, getting an opportunity now. Stopped up at the 33-yard line as we approach 5 minutes to go. Lobo's getting a little more feisty and frustrated down there on the field.
They got 3 timeouts left, New Mexico.
John Shira, there's a familiar name of UCLA lore, guys. Makes me feel a little bit old. 3rd down and 9.
The Lobos are going to come again.
And Shira is tackled at the 28-yard line. It'll be 4th down and long. DJ Renteria making the sack.
See, this game's not over yet. Now, if New Mexico could return this kick or block this punt, they've been close.
They better block it because Nate Fiske, this punter from UCLA, he has been lights out today, Mike. I mean, he kicks the football. And he's the punter and the kicker, which you don't see very often in major college football, all Pac-10.
Yeah, he has been one of the unsung heroes today in the field position battle, often pinning New Mexico deep in its own territory. His 8th punt of the day. Gets off a high one. Here's counter at 35. Slips and falls at the 37-yard line, but good coverage by the Bruins special team on the 37-yard punt. Well, there were plenty of fun-filled activities leading up to the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl. After the welcome reception Saturday, players from both teams were able to enjoy the fun and games at the ESPN zone on the Las Vegas Strip. A lot of them actually telling me that was their favorite part of this day so far. Didn't see many of the guys in the casinos on the one-arm bandits, though, working those quarter slots like yours truly. Here's Here's the jingle jangle from my pocket, folks. See that? That's all the quarters, okay? First down and 10. Casey Kelly on the rollout. Counter fumbles it. I think they're going to say he was down and stopped up near the 47-yard line. Dwight Counter's been one of Kelly's favorite targets today, making a few receptions.
New Mexico, Mark, they are going to call that a fumble, and he's going to lose the yardage. But New Mexico now, no doubt, Mike, in a 2-minute situation where they need to get up there and get going right now. The ball went out of bounds, so it's not a factor here. But from here on out, hurry up tempo for the Lobos.
Rocky Long's team playing its just its second bowl game since 1961. Second and 7. And Kelly sacked back at the 33.
Sack for a loss on the play.
They got to get with the program now, and the clock, a big-time enemy of the Lobos.
One of the things Dan Dodd, the offensive coordinator from New Mexico, talked about was they need to improve their down-the-field passing game for next year. This gives them a great opportunity. But, Mike, if you're going to throw it down the field, you better protect it.
Yeah, and defensive linemen right now, they're going to pin their ears back and come after Kelly.
On 3rd and 13. Counter couldn't hang on to it, and he would have had the first down right near midfield. It'll be 4th down and 13. He's made 4 catches for 71, but not that one.
Put some zip on that football. A catchable ball right there by Dwight Counter. I'm a little bit surprised right now that New Mexico, Mike, would punt this football. I know it's 27-13. It's 4th down. At some point, I think you have to go for it here. What's the difference if it's 34-13 or not? Give yourself a chance to go win this game.
Well, first of all, they're playing 8-man football right now. They don't have enough guys on the field.
9 seconds on the play clock.
Players don't think they should punt either.
Yeah, they call a timeout. Time now for our Capital One player of the game, and the guy that really turned the fortunes of the game in UCLA's favor. Craig Bragg on this punt return, 74 yards after taking the initial hit. Went all the way and got a nice escort downfield from Kevin Brandt, number 32.
And
at that
Kevin
time,
Brandt,
it was tied 6-6.
I believe is the son of Tim Brandt.
ABC sportscaster.
Long-time commentator, college football guy. And, Mark, that was so big because at that point, it was a 6-6 football game coming out here to start the second half.
Used to work with Tim Brandt, didn't you?
For many
Mark?
years.
Yeah, good man.
Many years.
Good man.
Mike, do you think you should go for it here?
Yes.
Particularly because you've now burnt another timeout. So you're not going to get the football back.
No, this...
and you need 2 scores to climb back in.
And if you're going to fake the punt, they're going to be ready for it anyway. So
this very much, guys, a learning experience for the Lobos. Only 2 of the players on their entire roster, both transfers, ironically, have any type of bowl experience. And New Mexico, the only team in NCAA D1 football to improve their win totals in successive years dating back to 1998. They fake it. Oh, it's a good one, but it doesn't work. A lot of motion, but not enough result.
Siegfried Roy just blew up.
Tyler Goss brought down at the 31, and the Bruins will take over.
UCLA was sitting there ready for the fake.
Keith Short making the tackle on the play. And the Bruins now with an opportunity to tack even more points on the board with 2:48 to go.
Ed Kazarian can light up the cigar. Bob, he's undefeated.
Hey, listen, that speech that he made at the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl banquet was an all-timer.
There's no question about that, Mark. He did a tremendous job yesterday speaking at the kickoff luncheon.
Did it in a very good manner, acknowledging both teams and the strengths of both teams. There's a look at the interim head coach of the Bruins. Looks like he already got the Gatorade shower, guys.
See you in the academic room, he's telling those guys. Get your grades up. Yeah, get your grades up now.
Ed Kazarian, a lifer at UCLA, his 21st season on campus in Westwood.
And his son, I believe, is in the game right now as a backup tight end. Just a young player there at UCLA, I believe a sophomore. So neat to have his whole family here to experience this.
2nd down and 7. Ebel brought down at the 30-yard line. More great college football action as Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow on ESPN. 2 more games. The Motor City Bowl at 5 Eastern Time. Boston College taking on Toledo. And then the Insight Bowl as number 23 Pittsburgh taking on Oregon State. I'm telling you guys, one of the most exciting receivers I've seen this year is Larry Fitzgerald, the youngster from Pittsburgh. He has tremendous catching skills, going up in the air and taking the ball away from people.
I agree, Mark.
3rd down and 9.
Here they come. Like your Wolf's coming again.
Ebel stopped up at the 28. They whistled the play dead. Tyler Ebel, 2nd team freshman All-American. Don't forget, folks, coming up next, it's the Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl between Hawaii and Tulane. And for extended post-game coverage of today's game, tune into ESPN News Post-Game Extra for interviews, commentary, and analysis.
We had the Hawaii mark against Alabama, and they had a game where they came out the first 58 plays they threw the ball.
First 58 plays without a running back.
Were they playing without a running back?
No, they don't. They do not run the football. June Jones said when he was thinking about being a coach, he was quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He said, if I coach, I'm going to throw every down. So that's what he does.
The run and shoot guy, right?
Run and shoot. Mouse Davis, John Jenkins, all a part of that run and shoot scheme that Houston Gamblers and of the old league. What was that?
World.
USFL.
USFL.
Houston Gamblers and the Denver Gold.
You're going back there.
Yeah, I went to a game one time where both teams run and shoot to see how they defended it.
Well, we played against the University of Houston back when I was at Texas A&M. Back in the late 80s, Jack Pardee, John Jenkins,
Jack Pardee's another.
Andre Ware, the quarterback.
4th down and 7 for UCLA with 1:16 to go. Abel brought down at the 25 as we approach 1 minute to go as New Mexico now takes over on downs. And guys, it's been a really great week here in Las Vegas for both these teams and for our crew and us up in the booth and Holly Rowe down in the field. And this broadcast wouldn't have been possible without the talents of our crew, our cameraman down in the field and up top. Modest group. But you know, us announcers admittedly can be a very finicky group, and these are the people that you're looking at right now that really make it work.
Wait a second.
Fixing up
I
our
haven't been an announcer long enough to put me in that
you're one of us now.
category.
You're one of us now. Casey Kelly sacked back at the 17-yard line, but much love going out to the crew and the people in the truck. Our producer, Bo Garrett, our director, Bruce Troit, our help up in the booth here, Steve LeBeau, our stat man, and Seth Jacobson, our spotter. Merry Christmas to all and all the best in the upcoming year. 2nd down and 19 for New Mexico. Incomplete. Intended for Brody. Wesley Walker defending the play for UCLA, who will notch another bowl win. They've been successful. They'll notch their 10th win in the last 14 bowl games with this victory.
And Carl Durrell is getting a football team with a lot of talent, a lot of heart, because they had chances to bag it and head for the plane.
Ball at the 17-yard line as the day comes to a close here in Las Vegas, Nevada, on a cool night under the lights at Sam Board Stadium. Kelly to pass. Completes it to Farrell at the 32-yard line, about 5 yards short of the first down.
Mike, Casey Kelly can throw the football. He really does. He slings it and throws with good velocity. A lot of work in this spring on passing game. They get a healthy Dontrell Moore back again next year, freshman of the year in the Mountain West Conference. I think New Mexico will be a force to be reckoned with in the Mountain West next year. I really do.
And one of the great things, guys, about the teams here is that you get a chance to see them out amongst the people, making a visit to the Sunrise Children's Hospital. They did that on Sunday. The players gave out Sega Sports memorabilia, taking pictures with the children there. Really heartfelt moment for everybody. Recruiting a new generation of football fans.
Merry Christmas.
Putting a smile on a lot of collective faces at the hospital. There's a smile worth $1 million. Can't get that in a casino.
Coach of the year.
He'll be rumored for a job before we get off air.
Yep. And you can tell the team likes him. Even the police like him. I mean, they got everybody. Yeah, everybody likes you.
Everybody likes you.
You're right.
You know
You're right. You're right. How soon I forgot.
Fourth down. Conversion attempt here for New Mexico. UCLA again playing zone coverage in the secondary.
And Kelly rolls out. Counter tiptoes out of bounds at the 39, getting the first down with 14 seconds to go. Ed Kazarian had a great quote at the banquet. He said that you either end up with a nest egg or a goose egg in life, and it all depends, and this is a quote, on the chick that you marry. A great way, guys, to get over and in good once again with your wife.
I have a nest egg. I got a nest egg right now.
I outkick my coverage with my wife, Sarah. I'm telling you, I'm over my head, too. First down and 10. Kelly fires a dart complete to Farrell once again at the 44-yard line with 4 seconds to go. Another first down. New Mexico Lobos will finish the season at 7-7. UCLA will improve to 8-5 and usher in the Carl Durrell era. With 1 second to go now. Time for one more play.
Kelly spiking the football. Second down.
Biggest thing for Ed now is the press conference.
Yeah. And then he'll be back in that big suite that all the head coaches get when you're head coach back at the MGM.
The Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl, the inaugural chapter coming up next. Hawaii taking on Tulane.
Mike, what's the best BCS bowl game this year? What game do you like? Best matchup.
I like the national championship game. I think that's going to be a better game than everybody thinks it's going to be.
Miami by 2 touchdowns. Second and 10.
That was Mark Jones.
Sorry, Mike. Into the end zone. And incomplete. And that's it. Ed Kazarian, the interim head coach for the UCLA Bruins, guiding his team to a 20-7-13 victory.
Way to go.
In his first head coaching appearance. 21 years on campus at Westwood, and here he notches the win. That's the final score in the Sega Sports Las Vegas Bowl, and right now, Holly Rowe standing by with the interim head coach.
Coach, you may be the first, last, and only coach to win your only game. How did it feel for these kids to respond to you today?
Well, I thought that our UCLA Bruins gave a great effort today. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and I thought the game went about the way we expected it to go.
You've been at UCLA over 21 years. What did this mean for you personally today to get this opportunity?
Well, this is a nice win for UCLA football. This really isn't about me. It's about the players and the seniors, and especially 9 assistant coaches, Holly, that have prepared this team for 2.5 weeks.
Well, they gave a good job resume today for the new coach coming in. Thanks very much, Coach.
Yeah, Coach Durrell will be proud of him.
All right, guys, back up to you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, Holly. Our final score, 27-13. Coming up next, it's the Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl between Tulane and Hawaii. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Bob Davey, Mike Gottfried, Holly Rowe, I'm Mark Jones. For our entire ESPN crew, Merry Christmas from Las Vegas. Reese, back to you in the studio. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Mark. Ed Kazarian now tied with Larry Coker for the all-time lead in winning percentage. We've got more football coming your way. The Conagra Foods Hawaii Bowl. Hawaii and Tulane in 30 seconds. Stay with us.